assignments for this first of two heats. Emma Tall, one of the athletes that we just mentioned, the battle for the podium, will be in lane number 6, and Olivia Kerstetter will be in lane number 3. And let's talk about what's at stake here in this opening heat.
Yeah, the two are they going to be the same for the men and the women, and it's really kicking off the weekend with some momentum in regards to starting off with a chipper that's pretty well rounded. We're touching on a mix of modalities, and then for a lot of these young competitors and even the athletes who are returning but want to move their way up, it's all about proving that they belong, and we're certainly going to really get a nice opportunity to see where they fall after Nessie.
Emma Tall and Danny Spiegel going through those 160 weighted double unders. We saw 20 reps on the log for the men. There'll be 16 for the women. So keep that in mind as we work our way through this event. Haley Adams in the middle of your screen in the black shirt. Early trip on the double unders. Have some breaks already happening here. Danny Spiegel taking a break. Abby Domit also as well took a quick break. She's in the all yellow at the far end of the floor.
Yeah, and right there in the front stage center, Paige Reynolds right here in the black top, maroon bottoms, working through her double unders. Paige Rogers, I'm sorry, working through. Name change, used to be Paige Powers, threw me there, is coming in perhaps fit as she's ever been, and we've seen her at the CrossFit Games, and I'm really interested, Sean, to see what she's able to put on display throughout the course of this competition as a whole. She's had recent success at the Crash Crucible. She's rebuilding herself. She did the Mayhem in regards to qualifying, or not qualifying, but a qualifier in this last season where she was getting back on the horse of competition.
1 rep for every 20 reps completed on the scoreboard. So the first woman to 8 will move on to the handstand walk. Gracie Walton and Olivia Kerstetter towards the front here. There's Abby Domit.
Yeah, taking a couple deep breaths here, regaining her composure. A lot of these women, if they watch the previous men heats, understand they can lose a little bit of time here in order to sacrifice keeping their composure and building confidence and momentum through this workout. People that are watching this at home, you know, you mess up your double unders a couple times, you want to chuck that thing across the room, and they're doing their best to just maintain in their own mind here.
Grace Walton and Olivia Kerstetter, the first 2 women in the handstand walk. Emma Tall sits in 3rd. Giuliano and Rogers also on this 80-meter handstand walk, so 2 total laps, 4 lengths. Walton and Kerstetter making the turning. They are dead even right now. Walton making her first appearance here at the Rogue Invitational. Olivia Kerstetter continues and is now in the lead. As Paige Rogers is now in 3rd place ahead of Emma Tall. Haley Adams is still back on the rope going through her 160 double unders.
Yeah, we talked about it being a place where we know Haley Adams, that's not a strength of hers, as we see her pretty high and erratic jumps finish up there. It's not a place where you can lose that much time and still hope for a good finish. Hopefully she can make some of it up here on the handstand walk.
Well, Walton and Rogers are now towards the front. Emma Tall is now in the lead. The part has Haley Adams, who just finished. She's in the lane next to Emma Tall. It's Rogers and Walton who are in the lead here. Rogers at the bottom of your screen, red shorts. This will be her final trip back, taking a break. Grace Walton behind her, and Olivia Kerstetter is in 3rd place. There's Lucy Campbell, runner-up at the CrossFit Games, getting set to make the final turn back.
Had some great handstand walking moments at the CrossFit Games this year, going head-to-head with the GOAT, Tia Claire Toomey.
Lucy Campbell, really happy to be competing here at the Rogue Invitational. Her father is Scottish, as Paige Rogers is now one of the GHDs. And if you know anything about Mayhem, I mean, they do these things in their sleep, so this shouldn't be a problem.
That's right.
60 reps here for Powers, or for Rogers, pardon me. Still getting used to the name change as well.
That's right. Yeah, it might take us a few reps. Paige doing a great job putting on her raw capacity there. She is one of the more recent mothers in our sport, recovering from pregnancy, restructuring and rebuilding the foundation of midline stabilization and all the things fitness that are going to be demanded of her at the Rogue Invitational.
And Lucy Campbell is now in third place. Danny Spiegel sits in fourth, and Olivia Kerstetter has moved into fifth place. As now Emma Tall is done. Elisa Fuliano onto the GHDs as well. 60 total reps here. At the 72 rep mark, they'll move to the box for the 40 box jump overs. And Paige Rogers continues to lead. She's through now 40 of the 129 total repetitions. She's got now less than 30 to go on the GHDs.
We talk about how potent GHDs are a lot. The unique thing is the faster that you sit up, Sean, the harder you have to brace your abdominals. So it's a little give and a little take there. Do you want maximum speed? Yes, you do. Of course, you want to be first off this thing if you can, but also you're going to be building fatigue a little bit differently than everybody else the faster you go.
Rogers now with 20 reps to go. Make that 10.
And this is where we start to settle in with the understanding that a lot of the work they've done up until this point, not that it wasn't pointless and it didn't matter, but will only prove that it matters with how they execute on that log, which is looming after these next box jump overs.
Rogers is done, and now 40 box jump overs.
Paige, one of those athletes that's going to be eyeing to get herself into that second heat as soon as she can, has to have that urgency. If these women were in the back watching the way the first heat of the men played out versus the second heat, they know that when athletes have that target time to beat, their time is just simply an appetizer on the menu for those next athletes waiting. So she's got to have urgency here, regardless of where she stands amongst these other competitors on the field.
Well, Grace Walton is on to the box jump overs and chalking her hands while she does those opening reps, because that log is after these 40 reps. Kerstetter has started her set of 40. Emma Tall and now Lucy Campbell onto the box as well. So the 112 rep mark is when they are done with this portion of the event, and then it's just those 16 reps on the log remaining. But Rogers has about 12 reps remaining.
Yeah, the mindset of a lot of these athletes coming off this box is simply on those log muscle-ups. They want to remain efficient, as we see Lucy Campbell chipping away here. Elisa Fuliano there in the back as well.
The final rep for Rogers, and she'll be first to the log. 16 reps here. Walton and Campbell and Kerstetter all in a tight battle for second place behind Rogers. Rogers going with those quick singles. Walton's done. She's working her way to the log.
We've watched these quick singles be a big payoff for the experienced athletes in the field, especially those that can time the recovery just right. Gracie Walton showing that she's in no hurry to get up onto that log.
Now Lucy Campbell's moved into third place along with Emma Tall. Here comes Olivia Kerstetter done with the box as well. The Tall, Kerstetter, and Campbell fighting for third place right now in the heat. Rogers continues to lead.
Paige does a great job at jumping slightly behind the log, allowing her momentum to slide forward or come underneath that thing and then kip directly over. It's smooth.
She's got 7 reps left now, 6 remaining.
Still looking quite effortless and consistent at this point with 5 left. This is where you got to have that internal clock and dialogue, Sean, on, hey, I got to get back up. I got to go faster. Too slow. Because, again, of the competitors that are just watching for that next heat.
Meanwhile, Emma Tall is winning the battle for second place with Campbell and Kerstetter. She's got a couple rep lead on those two. Rogers is on to her final rep. to Paige Rogers. Welcome back to the Rogue Invitational. He's going to pick up a heat win here in Nessie.
She didn't forget that buzzer.
9:32.60 seconds. Emma Tall looking to be the next woman to finish. She has 10 reps left.
And Sean, I'll tell you, ironically, Haley Adams just making her way to the log. Now, if this is a movement that she is comfortable with, she can still make up a tremendous amount of ground with the time remaining.
We saw Ricky Garrard do that with the men in that second heat. Tall now with 8 reps remaining on the log. Kerstetter now Fuliano fighting for third. Starting to see some no reps get handed out. Gracie Walton just missed on the bottom left-hand part of your screen. And Kerstetter got no rep as well. Adams is having some trouble in the middle.
And this is where we start to see the difference between the women's challenges and the men's challenges. Of course, hand size is going to be a little bit of a limiter. The more of your fingers and palm that can stay on top of that log through your kip, the more success you can have. When we talk about the kip for a bar muscle up, people are used to being able to just swing their body however they want and trying to end up on top of that thing. With a log, it's different. You've got to remain a little bit more stiff in the bottom of your swing, otherwise your hands slip out of position.
Olivia Kerstetter right now in 5th place in the heat. She's through 120 of the 128 reps. So 8 remaining here for her. Grace Walton on the left side of your screen working through her final set as well. Alicia Fuliano has now moved into 2nd place in the heat. She's got 2 reps remaining. Kerstetter on the podium at the CrossFit Games this year. And there goes Elisa Fuliano. 2nd place in the heat. 11:38.86 seconds. Paige Rogers just assaulted this thing.
Yep. Yeah, and you love to see it because of the way that she executed that first part, Sean. We were like, hey, now we're going to have an opportunity to see if this work was for naught or if it was for reason. And she had plenty of reason to go fast because clearly she knew she would have success on that log.
I mean, we still have another heat, but that time from Rogers looks like it's going to be a pretty solid result for her to open up this competition. Now, Abby Domit is off. She'll take 3rd place in the heat. Emma Tall and Danny Spiegel both have 1 rep remaining. Tall is off. Spiegel in the background completing her final rep, and she'll make the run to the finish. A 16-minute time cap here. Spiegel gets in at 12:32.63 seconds. Half the field still working. Olivia Kerstetter has 1 rep left. Can't get up and over that log.
Yeah, just a little too low there. In order to win with a log this thick, you got to try to pull it just a little bit lower, just below the sternum.
Kerstetter just cannot get up and over that log. We've all been there.
Yep, we certainly have. And this is where when you're watching at home, you wonder why these athletes are just standing around. It's because of the effort that it takes to even attempt one of these things. You don't want to have to waste it. You want to make every opportunity count, and every time they rush a repetition and get no rep, they're losing energy, and of course they're losing precious time. Got it.
There's Olivia Kerstetter closing things out. She'll take 6th place in the heat with about 2.5 minutes remaining before we run into the 16-minute time cap. 13:29.98 for Kerstetter. Lucy Campbell has 5 reps remaining. Paige Semenza is still working. She's in the light blue shirt out there. Campbell trying to get the crowd behind her. And you wonder how something like this too is affecting that wrist.
For sure. For sure, yeah. When you have wrist as a limitation, it's upside down work and work where you have to get into what we call the false grip. So that position where their hand is in a flex position over that log, you see her getting in it right now. When she puts those hands up there, that's a tremendous amount of strain on your grip strength. And Sean, you're right. That's directly related to wrist stability and capacity that's been built over time.
And Campbell now with 3 reps left.
Man, this is one of those unique experiences that come with the blessing of the challenge of competing at the Rogue Invitational, where you don't get a chance to just find a 4-inch log laying around anyone's affiliate. Athletes have been creative through the years in trying to create this stimulus in their homes, but you got to get out onto this competition floor to really know what this obstacle is like to overcome.
Final rep for Lucy Campbell. And she has it. And Campbell is in. Just inside 15 minutes, less than a minute to go before we hit the time cap. 3 athletes still working. Grace Walton is one of them, and she led early on in this heat. Well, I don't think Haley Adams has been able to get a single rep yet. That's the last rep for Paige Semenza. Walton has 30 seconds to complete 4 reps and get across the finish line. Looks like she and Adams are going to get capped.
That was a good, I think that was one of the cleaner reps that I've seen her do in a couple minutes, Sean. She was able to keep her hands on top of the log even through that violent kip that she gave it on the way up. Let's see if Haley can sneak one in.
Final couple seconds here, and Adams just can't get that to go, but Paige Rogers.
Wow.
9:32.6 seconds to pick up the heat win. And that is going to be a formidable time for the athletes in heat number 2.
Sean, we're going to talk about momentum quite a bit this weekend, especially surrounding the
second and final heat. Brandon will be working out of lane number 5. Laura Horvath, the 2-time Rogue Invitational champion, will be in lane number 6. And Alex Gazan, another woman we'll be keeping an eye on here. The first time we've seen her in competition since the NorCal Classic. She'll be in lane number 4. What is at stake here, Adrian?
Yeah, the no-brainer here is momentum throughout the course of this weekend. Are we going to see Laura Horvath start to run away with this thing early? Will she be able to kick down the doors with a top 3 finish? Will some of the other competitors be able to wedge themselves into a point differential early on this way? Can she establish dominance this way? Or is it going to be a competition or a coronation is the question. Will someone rise to the occasion and start to dethrone Laura early this weekend?
Laura Horvath, the overwhelming favorite to win this competition. 9:32.6 seconds, the top time from Paige Rogers as we kick off the second and final heat with the 160 double unders with that weighted rope. One rep for every 20 that they complete on the scoreboard. The first woman to 8 reps will then move on to that 80-meter handstand walk. 2 total laps, 4 lengths between those red lines. Ariel Lone in the all green taking a break.
Yeah, a lot of the double unders here looking pretty uniformed. Similar jump heights for the women, similar hand speed. A couple intentional breaks. We see Gazan break there on the left. Remaining composed. This is all intentional so that she can make sure she's clean on the execution in the next handstand walk, even with the GHD sit-ups.
Gazan making her 3rd appearance in the Rogue Invitational. She's been top 5 here the last 2 years. Just missed out on a spot on the podium in 2024. And for more on her, let's go down to the competition floor with Kiki Dixon.
Sean, as you mentioned, this is Alex's first competition back since being injured in a car accident this past June. I had the opportunity to chat with her today, and she told me she feels healthy and can do everything without pain, but it is her squatting that's coming back the slowest. The biggest shift has been her perspective. She says she typically feels pressure, that she either podiums or it's a bust. But now she's just so happy to be here, and maybe that shift in perspective will pay off in performance. I say, come what may, Alex, we're just happy to have you back in the game, right, guys?
Thanks, Kiki. Laura Horvath and Danielle Brandon, the first 2 to the handstand walk. Ariel Lowen there as well. And Danielle Brandon is starting to open up a lead on Horvath as now Lowen is moving past the 2-time Rogue Invitational champion. Brandon done with the first of 4 lengths, makes the return trip, and she's right back to work. Lowen and Horvath getting to work at the same time now as the rest of the field is pretty much on to that handstand walk. Everyone done with those 160 double unders. There's Danielle Brandon.
Yeah, folks, and if you're taking notes at home and want to know how to handstand walk a little bit better, stack your hips on top of your shoulders like Danielle Brandon does. If you break at the knee, not at the hip. Don't overarch. Don't look too far out in front of your hands. We're going to see some differences happening in fatigue, and that's going to lead to slowing for some of these other women. Danielle does a great job at staying stacked as we're watching her navigate this floor effortlessly, one hand in front of the other.
This is her 6th appearance at the Rogue Invitational. Her best finish. It's her only 2 finishes inside the top 10. Came in back-to-back years, 9th in 2022 and then 7th in 2023. She does have one event win in her career here at this competition, and right now leading here in the second and final heat. The time to beat belongs to Paige Rogers, 9:32.6 seconds. This is the final trip now for Rogers back down the floor as Horvath on the left and Lowen on the right are fighting for second place behind Brandon.
And I like here what Ariel even did with that decision, Sean. You know, she was watching Laura. She was like, I'm just going to stay right by where this girl is. I'm going to make sure that I keep my distance to her appropriately so that I can navigate these log muscle-ups, which I believe Ariel has in her back pocket as a capacity and skill set, so she's going to navigate the pacing appropriately.
And Lowen on the podium last year at the Rogue Invitational, along with Tia Toomey and Laura Horvath, as Danielle Brandon has gotten to work on her set of 60 GHD sit-ups. So looking to hit the 72 rep mark is Danielle Brandon, as they got 1 rep for each length of the floor on the handstand walk. Lowen also to work on the GHDs, and now Laura Horvath as well. The top 3 women in this heat really starting to separate themselves from the pack.
They're going to go rep for the most part here on these GHDs. I don't see anything different on the cycle rate that leads us to believe otherwise, but this is only going to be, again, they're trying to conserve what energy they can for the log as they know that'll be their chance to make moves.
Alexis Raptis in the all-black on the right side of your screen has just finished up her handstand walk. She's solidly in 4th place in the heat. And now Emma Lawson is finished up. She'll start her 60 GHD sit-ups. Alex Gazan and Brooke Wells will join the rest of the field on the GHDs. Maddie Surt, Manon Anganez, and Emily Rolfe still on the competition floor, closing out their 80-meter handstand walks. And now Danielle Brandon continues the lead on to the box jump overs. 40 reps here. Ariel Lowen has a couple rep lead on Laura Horvath on the GHDs. The 112 rep mark on the scoreboard is when Danielle Brandon will advance to those 16 log muscle ups.
It's one of those movements too, Sean, that when you stop and you pause, it hurts worse. These athletes have enough experience to understand that it's slow and steady often wins the race at GHDs. You just don't pause and stop and sit up there on the pad. You get moving, try to get to that box jump over as Danielle Brandon is just continuing to pull away from the field.
Ariel Lowen is going to be the second woman on to the box jump overs. And now here comes Laura Horvath. Well, you talked about, is this going to be a competition or a coronation? And right now, Lowen and Brandon are trying to turn this thing into a competition.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what we want. That's what they need early on from a whole field of competitors. If we're thinking about stacking up against Miss Horvath, is that we've got to be able to create barriers to accumulation of points for Laura. You do that by beating her in workouts.
Emma Lawson is now on to the box jump overs as Brandon gets to work on her 16 log muscle ups. This is the battle for second place behind Brandon. Lowen on the left and Horvath on the right. The 128 is the score that Danielle Brandon needs to hit before she makes her way to the finish line. And again, that top time from heat number 1, Paige Rogers, is going to be a factor. 9:32.6 seconds. 5 reps remain now for Ariel Lowen on the box jump overs. She's got to get to 112 before she moves on to the muscle ups. Brandon has 8 reps remaining. She's halfway through that set of 16. And here comes Lowen.
Yeah, and Ariel has a good history with this log. She has a really tight redirection under that ring, onto that muscle up with the log, and it helps her get on top of that thing. As long as she can keep her hands on the log, she's going to work through these 16 pretty steadily.
5 reps left for Brandon. Laura Horvath onto the log. Now Brandon on pace to win the event here.
Yeah, making a tremendous statement to start this weekend. I mean, very minimal change of direction. We're watching her body language. She's smooth over the log, using a big swing, minimal kip. It's getting the job done for her.
1 rep remaining for Danielle Brandon, looking to pick up her 2nd career event win at the Rogue Invitational. And she is going to do it. Danielle Brandon, 100 points in a victory in Nessie. 8:27.96 seconds. Beats Rogers by more than a minute. And now the fight for second as Laura Horvath has lost some ground to Emma Lawson. Emma Lawson has moved ahead of Horvath here in the race. Behind Danielle Brandon, Ariel Lowen has 8 reps left. And now a no rep for Laura Horvath.
This is where we start to see that decisive, intentional pacing play out for all these athletes. Are they going too soon? Are they waiting too long? An athlete like Emma Lawson has really paced this entire event only to this point. Now to start to push her threshold. If she's timed it just right, she's going to have an opportunity to be top 3 here.
She has a chance to push Lowen now for second place. It's a rep behind Ariel Lowen. Lowen's got 4 remaining. Lawson's got 5. Now Maddie Sturt and Alex Gazan have moved ahead of Laura Horvath. So our 2-time champ starting to fade here. Competition or coronation? Well, early on here in 2025, this is definitely a competition. Laura Horvath starting to fall back here in the pack, and some of those times from the first heat are going to factor in as Rogers is going to wind up with a 2nd place finish in this event out of heat number 1. And here comes Ariel Lowen. And that will be good enough for 3rd place in the event, 10:08.78 seconds. Lawson is now done. Gazan is finished as well. And I don't think Lawson sees her. Ooh, and Lawson just made the touch ahead of Gazan. What a charge from Gazan. Maddie Sturt is in.
Big push and charge there from Maddie Sturt after those handstand walks.
But Laura Horvath continues to fall back in the pack here in heat number 2. She has 4 reps remaining.
And this is where you think about being a fierce competitor, sometimes coming to bite you. Because had Laura paced just a little bit earlier, now granted, she's a champ here, only one of 2. Her and Tia-Claire Toomey, the only 2 that have worn the crown at the Rogue Invitational, so she's going to come out with that hungry mentality no matter what. But a little bit more control early in this event, maybe her final time plays out a little bit more towards the top.
Now Laura Horvath is done. Good news for her, this should be good enough for 7th place in the event. So another top 10 finish for Horvath here at the Rogue Invitational. Leaves Alexis Raptis as a leader on the floor. She has 3 reps remaining, 16-minute time cap, so 4.5 minutes to go before we hit that. Raptis is up and over.
Raptis, one of those athletes, Sean, that we know has the fitness, and we've seen her compete for years, has been operating a little bit under injury. She's recovering from some back issues that she had last year, and it's great to see her out there healthy and ready to compete.
She had to withdraw the last 2 times that she qualified for the Rogue Invitational in 2023 and 2024, but when she was healthy in 2022 and competed at this event, she finished in 8th place overall, and now Raptis is in just over the 12-minute mark. It's Anganese, Wells, and Rolfe on the floor, and the 3 of them are onto their set of 16 muscle-ups on the log.
And Ganesh, one of those athletes that has been here several times. She's been able to experience this log. It's wonder, we should ask them, how have you simulated the log in training? What are you doing to try to gather your experience at home?
Manon Anganese with 1 rep left here. She is up and over, and Manon Anganese well inside the 16-minute time gap.
And I'm feeling the coordination. Dark to light, light to dark. Got the switch, see what she's doing there with the hair and the shoes.
Got it dialed in.
Yeah, man, if you look good, you play good.
And many a football coach would say that. Brooke Wells and Emily Rolfe, the last 2 athletes on the floor. Brooke Wells announcing her retirement earlier this year.
It's the time that they take between these singles that lets you know how they're feeling and the familiarity they have with this movement. Everybody's broken all the reps in these women heats. It's just about how long do you take between your next attempt. Brooke's reps get really hard because of how far she pulls herself forward underneath that log. We've seen athletes have more success. How Emily Rolfe is trying to work through them where they just swing from behind it instead of redirect themselves. Watch Brooke pull her chest forward really hard there. And sometimes that pulls your hands down just a little bit more on that log. Emily's swinging that leg back, swinging through.
Less than 2 minutes to go before we hit the time cap. Rolfe is struggling on these reps. He's got 8 remaining. Wells has 6 left.
That was a great make there by Brooke. That feeling of urgency where you feel like you might not make it. And she was able to strength it right over top.
Good rep for Emily Rolfe on the right side as Brooke Wells has got 5 left.
That's where that's an example of the grip blowing up there. Just hand slips right off the log.
One minute to go before event number 1. The first of 9 events that these athletes will face over the next 3 days is in the books, and it's Danielle Brandon who's going to pick up her 2nd career event win at the Rogue Invitational. We'll just see how far Wells and Rolfe can get here.
Yeah, 2 very different sides of the momentum coin here, Sean. Brooke Wells and Emily Rolfe just fighting rep for rep, trying to complete as many as they can. Danielle Brandon kicking down the door, and in a very impressive fashion.
Final 30 seconds. And that will do it for Nessie. Danielle Brandon, 8:27.96 seconds. You mentioned it, Adrian, just kicking the door down here. Paige Rogers' time from heat number 1 is going to be good enough for 2nd place. Danielle Brandon leading from the front. Goes wire to wire here in event number. The first of 2 heats, and Austin Hatfield, the guy we'll be keeping an eye on throughout this weekend, will be in the middle of the floor. He is in lane number 5. Let's talk about what's at stake here early in the competition, Adrian.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. We're used to seeing mass starts throughout the course of many styles of competition. Here at the Rogue Invitational, it's a staple for us to start with a long chipper. This is going to be mixed modality. These guys got to build momentum, and of course they want to prove they belong. Some new faces, newcomers, including rookie Austin Hatfield. We'll see what he brings to this field of competition.
Event number 1 is underway. It starts with the 160 double unders. They're going to get a rep for every 20 that they complete. And Austin Hatfield is a guy that would like to get himself into that 2nd and final heat, looking to prove he belongs here.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be the opportunity here. These guys are going to try to start this event as relaxed and composed as they can. Folks, you're watching them spin that double under rope, and that is not a normal one. That's going to be weighted, so it's heavy. You'll notice that their cycle rate might be a little bit slower than if they were using a jump rope of their own. That means they got to jump a little bit higher because the weight of the rope, they got to spin just a touch slower.
So 160 double unders here to kick us off, and so far every man has been unbroken on this initial set. And there is Austin Hatfield, first appearance here at the Rogue Invitational, coming off a 5th place finish at the CrossFit Games in Albany, New York earlier this year. Of course, Colton Mertens on the left side of your screen.
Colton, notoriously a fan favorite, one of the smaller statured athletes in the field. People are drawn to his ability to overcome adversity. He's got a great attitude, a great mindset. You'll notice he's spinning that rope fluidly. He's focused, staring off into the distance. That was an intentional break. You love to see this by the veteran athletes where they're saying, hey, I know 160 is a good chunk of reps. Let me break it up now so I can feel good later.
And Mertens making his first appearance at the Rogue Invitational since 2020 when he took 9th place. More athletes taking some breaks out there. Chandler Smith, one of them. Saxon Panchik also resting up. There is Chandler Smith, who's had some good moments here at the Rogue Invitational. He's been part of every single one. This is his 7th appearance here at this competition. His best finish was 2nd place in 2022, and now we're on to the 80-meter handstand walk, and it's Fabian Hermans at the now middle of your screen, who's looking to go unbroken over that red line, and he is done. And now he's got to make his way back before starting the 60 GHD sit-ups.
Yeah, and I believe they're going to go down and back twice here for that 80 yards. So this is interesting by Fabian. He was one of the first ones there, and he kicked down quickly. Harry Lightfoot making light work of these handstand walks, though I noticed in that transition also. He's got to go back. See, this is going to be a down and back twice. Start at the line, Harry. Come on back. Get those hands down and start handstand walking again is what is being communicated to him by the judge.
And Lightfoot thought he was done. He's got to make the turn. This is his first appearance at the Rogue Invitational out of the UK. The Saxon Panchik is also out front with Lightfoot. And Heinrich Happelainen currently sits in 3rd place. Happelainen next to Saxon Panchik at the far end of the floor as Lightfoot shakes it out, makes the return trip.
It's obvious Harry's very comfortable upside down and on his hands, and this is an opportunity for him to give himself a buffer going into not just the GHD sit-ups and the box jump, but if he can keep this pace, also going into that log work where we know we're going to see a ton of disparity and a ton of difference within the field there.
Lightfoot is done, and hearing it from the hometown crowd. As he gets into the GHD, he's got to knock out 60 reps here. Saxon Panchik currently sits in 2nd place in the heat. Heinrich Happelainen is being challenged by Chandler Smith for 3rd place.
Harry with about a 7-rep lead there on Saxon, as you see in the distance of your screen. So banked 7 reps here, and Sean, when you get upside down and you start walking on your hands, people don't realize this. They think about the energy that they're expending in their upper body, but we're really taxing your midline as well. So now these guys got to work through 60 of these GHD sit-ups that won't be that simple and certainly not that easy.
A cool feature that we have this year at the Rogue Invitational, the fans here in the building will be able to see live scoring on the Zeus rig. And Harry Lightfoot continues to work away on his GHD sit-ups. He's closest to the camera in the gray shorts, no shirt. Colton Mertens is now done. He'll join the rest of the field on the handstand push-ups. And Fabian Hermans is now done as well. So every athlete here in this opening heat on to the 60 GHD sit-ups. After this is the 40 box jump overs.
For a lot of these athletes, as they sit up, they're able to breathe at the top. We see Austin Hatfield doing a great job there, keeping a nice pace in regards to the cycle rate. Quick tap to the pad, right back down to the ground, and immediately snapping back up.
Hatfield was taking a look to his left to see where Lightfoot is. Hatfield, pardon me, is in the middle of the pack right now, trying to work his way up towards the top. He's got about 20 reps remaining.
The athletes notice their hips are on the backside of that black line. That's simply a standard there for the athletes to make sure that they're set up in regards to meeting the standards for this sit-up. If their hips move forward in front of that line, those reps don't count.
The Lightfoot is done, and he's moving on to the 40 box jump overs.
The pace here is going to be dictated by how quickly, of course, they can get off that ground. They're forced to step down, so that's part of the standard as well. Harry doing a nice job there at pivoting on top of the box. And notice this rhythm that he's creating for himself.
Meanwhile, Saxon Panchik's judge's hand went in the air second, and then Austin Hatfield is now moved into third place. His judge's hand is in the air, and he is right behind Saxon Panchik and pushing Saxon for second place in the heat behind Lightfoot. 40 reps here on this box jump over. Lightfoot is your leader. Hatfield and Panchik currently sit in a battle for second, and now Chandler Smith has moved into fourth place, and he is ahead of Heinrich Apolainen and Sam Quant. Quant on the right side of your screen in the black shirt.
Most of these guys navigating this box, Sean, by staying really low across the top. They don't have to stand up all the way, and that reduces the distance they got to travel, so staying low is key. Sam doing the same thing here in the middle of the screen in the black shirt.
Colt Mertens just got his 40 box jump overs. Fabian Hermans is the last man on the GHD sit-ups. Austin Hatfield and Harry Lightfoot fighting for the lead. Lightfoot's done, and now it's on to the log. He's got 20 reps here.
And this is where we see if this pace was all for good or all for naught.
The 7 minutes, 20 seconds have gone by here. 16-minute time cap. Lightfoot's going to have zero problem meeting that. So 20 reps on the log. This is an implement that is unique here to the Rogue Invitational.
And Harry opened with a set of 4 unbroken reps. Has yet to get back up to accumulate anything else. And we're going to see a lot of different strategies come into play here.
Austin Hatfield is now in second place. Here comes Saxon Panchik as well, chalking up his hands. 133 total repetitions that need to be completed, and Lightfoot, as you can see on the left side of your screen, is through 118 of those. There is 1 rep for hitting the buzzer at the end. Four men still on the box jump overs.
Harry down to singles now, executing 1 rep at a time, which is most advantageous for a lot of athletes. The circumference of that log is big, so the bigger your hands, the more advantage you got to keeping your fingers on top.
Hatfield and Panchik are starting to put a little pressure on Lightfoot here for the lead.
And here comes Guy Malheiros on the right of your screen with a quick 3, looking sharp.
Guy back in 6th place through 115 of the 133 total reps. They'll be done at the 132 rep mark. Then it's the sprint to the finish, and they have to hit the buzzer. It's not just getting your ankle across the finish line. But Lightfoot continues to lead, but his cushion is starting to shrink.
Fabian Hermans making his way to that log. A little bit of a welcome to the Rogue Invitational moment there for him, where he was the first to the handstand walk, Sean, but going to be the last to the log. Rookie on the floor.
Now Chandler Smith has tied Lightfoot, or momentarily tied him. Chandler has moved himself into second place here in this heat. Now Saxon Panchik is pushing Lightfoot. Panchik has 5 reps remaining. Lightfoot has 4 remaining. 132. They get to make the sprint to the buzzer. So 4 reps for Lightfoot, 4 for Panchik, 4 for Chandler Smith.
Got a no rep there for Lightfoot. He pulled too low. He's got to pull below his chest.
The Saxon Panchik has now 1 rep remaining, and he'll make his way to the buzzer. And there he goes. The Saxon Panchik gonna pick up a heat win, comes across 10:06.58 seconds, and now a sprint between Malheiros and Smith. Guy's gonna win that. Smith diving for the buzzer, And here comes Harry Lightfoot. 0.2 of a second separate my arrows from Smith, and Chandler Smith laid out to make that buzzer touch. And here comes Colton Mertens. I didn't think we'd see any diving, but Chandler Smith went Superman on that.
You just can't take it out of him, Sean. No matter what the obstacle is, he's going to find a way to make something as entertaining and possibly as risky as possible.
10:06.58 for Saxon Panchik. Austin Hatfield is now in. There's Sam Quant continuing to work through his muscle-ups.
We talked about the importance of building momentum, and a lot of these guys finishing this workout with smiles. I'll be interested to see what Lightfoot's energy is like finishing this, as he led the entire event, but maybe bit off more than he can chew in that opening set of those log muscle-ups.
Uldis Upnis came through. You saw Austin Hatfield taking a seat there, a man we mentioned in our run-up to this event. Guy who has been on the ascent here this past year, has now Heinrich Happelainen has come across.
Yeah,
Lightfoot, Smith talk things over. Sam Quant, Fabian Hermans, the last two men on the floor. Quant is now done. Getting some water from Chandler Smith.
Yeah, we know that it's for certain, Sean, that this is a competition, but this is also a gathering of some of the best and fittest friends across the world that have been competing against each other for many years, specifically that pair right there in Chandler Smith and Sam Quant. Fabian Herman still making his way through these log muscle-ups. One of those athletes that qualified through the online process to get here, the Q. And that is extremely hard to do, Sean. It's one of those things where the expectations that Rogue sets online to make sure that everything that you do, every rep, every weight you use, the angles that they demand, it is a very tedious and thorough process that he had to withstand and perform at an extremely high level in order to punch his ticket here as a rookie. So while he's going to learn many, many hard lessons this weekend amongst this field of champs and veterans, I would argue that this will be one of the most valuable experiences for his career in the future.
First appearance here at the Rogue Invitational for Fabian. Never been to the CrossFit Games. So as you mentioned, this is a good dose of reality for him if he wants to know what it's going to take to get to that next level. So 16-minute time cap. 2.5 minutes before we hit that. There's Austin Hatfield with those green wristbands on.
I don't know, man. I think I'm good.
And we talked about him in the lead up here, trying to build momentum, trying to prove that he belongs. Right now, 6th place in the heat. Lightfoot signing some autographs. Hometown favorite here from the UK. Has a lot of fans in the building.
Yeah, look at him, and he knows how to work it too.
Yeah.
Work that crowd, Harry. Do the thing, man. And it, you know, he's also a rookie here, right? So it's one of those things where we're seeing things play out in different ways for different athletes, as we will throughout the course of the weekend. But again, these lessons, even that Fabian might be learning right now, you can't replicate them anywhere else. You can't learn these on the couch. You can't learn these by watching online. You got to be in the back, warming up with these studs, warming up with these previous champs, getting your tail handed to you a little bit.
Hermans with 5 reps remaining. 90 seconds to go before we hit the time cap.
Yeah, and people at home will notice this, that what we see him doing, getting over that log, is not uncommon with the bar muscle-ups. A little bit of a chicken wing action, that's what we call it, one arm then the other arm. It is not an easy task to be going up and over an object that you're hanging from, specifically when it is a log and much thicker than one that your hands can get around.
Well, 2 reps remaining for Fabian, less than a minute to go. can't get up and over there, but he still has some time. 30 seconds left, about 35 seconds before we hit that 60-minute time cap.
Here we go. Pull deep. Got it.
And Fabian has it, and he'll make it inside the 60-minute time cap, so all 10 athletes will finish the entirety of Nessie. No one does it more quickly than that man, Saxon Panchik, with a heat win, 10:06.58 seconds. Saxon Panchik, a late addition here. The Rogue Invitational field. For Dallin Pepper wasn't able to make it. Comes out and wins the heat.
Yeah, that's not a...
3 days, and Jeff Adler, your defending champion, will be in lane number 6, and the current fittest man on earth, Jason Hopper, will be right next to him in lane 5. Let's talk again about what's at stake here early on in the competition as we kick things off.
Yeah, I mean, specifically going into this, we've got the Hopper hang-up. Now, this is going to be in regards to his experience with this with the log. Jason's had finishes of 19th, 19th, and 19th every time this event pops up. But then we got Gerard Greatness. So there in lane 7, you see the man. He's called his shot and said that if he's first to the log, the rest of the field is in trouble.
Second and final heat for the men is underway. We start with the 160 double unders on that weighted rope. Athletes will receive 1 rep for every 20 that they complete. An early trip for Justin Medeiros right out of the gate. There's Jonakowski. 5th appearance here at the Rogue Invitational. His best finish was 10th. That came last year.
Here are 2 men that we got to have a close eye on all weekend long. Jeff Adler on your right, the defending champion. Jason Hopper on your left, the 2025 CrossFit Games champion.
So far, everybody about on the same pace here. Through 80 to those 160s. So they hit the halfway point here at the 8 rep mark. They'll do that 80-meter handstand walk. 2 total laps. Between the red lines on the competition floor is Justin Medeiros, next to him Jake Crouch. Crouch in the black shirt.
Ricky Mack up there at the top of the screen, just looking over his shoulder to see where everybody else is, making sure that his double unders are where they need to be.
There is Ricky Gerard, who, like you said, Adrian, called a shot. He said, if I get to that log first, it's pretty much over. Finished 2nd place at the CrossFit Games, and it's hard to say you're disappointed by that, but he was clearly disappointed because he knows that he left some opportunities out there to possibly win the whole thing. And now Roman Krennikov, Pat Vellner, Jake Crouch, Hopper, about the entire field onto that 80-meter handstand walk. Justin Medeiros, the last man to put down the rope, but he had that early trip. We'll see if he can make it some ground here, as Jake Crouch is going to be the first man done with his opening length. 2 total laps, 4 total lengths to complete the 80-meter handstand walk.
Yeah, and this is where you really start to see how confident they are in their upside-down abilities, that turnaround point. You watch them turn around and they stare at that red line for a couple breaths, and you know they're already starting to feel it in their arms a little bit, and they pause. Jake Crouch, on the other hand, right when he got his hands down on that last segment, he turned, pivoted, and got right back to work. Pat Vellner there working his way through that handstand walk.
Vellner, a 2-time champion here at the Rogue Invitational. And Justin Medeiros has made up some significant ground as Jake Crouch continues to lead. Medeiros is now in 2nd place. He's in the middle of your screen.
Yeah, he really has closed the gap, and Justin does a really great job there. If you notice his hands, he covers a great amount of distance every stride with his hands. That he can do it because he has wonderful shoulder mobility. We've seen him time and time again present great positions from lifts to gymnastics, and it really helps him stay efficient here upside down.
Crouch continues to lead. He's going to take a break. Justin Medeiros is back on his hands. Pat Vellner and James Sprague are fighting for 3rd, and Ricky Gerard is right there with them. They're in the green part of the floor there on the left side of your screen as Crouch is now done, and he'll move on to the GHDs. 60 reps here. Medeiros done as well.
And Sean Medeiros, one of the fastest cycle rates on GHD sit-ups in our sport. He seems to be able to hold a really high cadence, and it doesn't seem to cost him that much.
Looking to hit the 72 rep mark on the scoreboard on the left side of your screen before it's on to the box jump overs. Now Ricky Garrard is done. He's adjusting his GHD for a second before he steps into it. James Sprague has started his set, as has Pat Vellner. Vellner on the far right side of your screen. Here comes Jeff Adler. And now Jason Hopper is on. Roman Krennikov is towards the back of the pack. And Yonakoski is behind him. The Krennikov has now just finished. He moves into the GHD sit-up towards the top of your screen. Then on the left side in the black shirt, you can see Yonakoski taking a break. Pardon me, that's Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson. Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson still on the floor.
Medeiros and Crouch going about rep for rep right now. Medeiros finally starting to pull away there on the GHDs by a rep or two.
Justin Medeiros was the last man done with the double unders. Now has moved into the lead. Again, 72 reps in that scoreboard is when he will move on to the box jump overs. The time to beat belongs to Saxon Panchik out of heat number 1. 10 minutes, 6.58 seconds.
A lot of people see this apparatus we're using right now, the GHD, used to develop the posterior. So face down, using it for your glutes, your low back. These athletes on this sit-up, man, they got to travel long distance to touch the ground and then sit up every time. And for 60 at once, not just in a whole workout, that can't be ignored because this is the exact musculature they're going to need to get up and over that log.
Jay Crouch is in second place. Vellner and Sprague are fighting for third, but now Medeiros is done into the lead and onto the box jump overs. 40 reps here for the two-time Rogue Invitational champion.
And that's how you do it, leaning into your strengths. He understood he could get upside down and be smooth. Last off the double unders for Justin was no worry for him. He knew what he'd do on the handstand walk, and especially that GHD.
Medeiros finished 8th here last year. Now Jay Crouch onto the box jump overs. Crouch was 6th place in 2024 at the Rogue Invitational. Pat Vellner onto the box jump overs. Sprague and Koski as well. Here come Adler and Garrard. Leaves Hopper, Krennikov, and Gudmundsson still on the GHDs, and Hopper has just closed out his set on the right side, moving to the box jump overs.
And Sean, talking to Hopper's coach before this competition started, is of course they have high expectations, but where they want to see his growth is an event just like this, where he might have a limiter or what something might categorize as a weakness at the end. How can he manage it? Can he turn something like these 19th historically places on something with the log and make it more of a 12th or even potentially a top 10? That is where they'll find success this weekend.
And you mentioned at the beginning of the event what's at stake here. Jason Hopper has not done well whenever that log has shown up in the Rogue Invitational, and right now towards the back of the pack here in this second heat. And now Justin Medeiros has closed out his 40 box jump overs, and he is on to the log first. So Justin Medeiros looking to make a statement here in the opening event. Time to beat in the upper right-hand part of your screen belongs to Saxon Panchik, and Medeiros has 2 reps down, now into rep number 3. 20 total here on the log bar muscle up. The 132 rep mark, he will be done, and then it's a sprint to the buzzer. Pat Vellner is starting to put some pressure on Jay Crouch for second place. Vellner chalking up. Jay Crouch has already gotten to work on his first set. Here comes Sprague and Koski.
And notice, Sean, at least Pat Vellner and Justin Medeiros both are opting for singles, 1 rep at a time, really quick, dropping to the mat, getting right back up on top of that log, because they know it's a race to 20, not just a race to 10.
Medeiros continues to lead. He's got a 5-rep cushion on Vellner and Crouch. Vellner has now moved into second place, about a half rep ahead of Jay Crouch. And now Ricky Garrard is finally making his way to the log, leaves Krennikov, Gudmundsson, and Hopper back on the box, although Krennikov and Hopper, have just finished their box jump overs, which leaves Gudmundsson on the right side of your screen is the only man still working on that part of the event. The 5 reps to go for Medeiros as Ricky Garrard is going unbroken on this, and you can see why he called his shot if he got to this thing first. He has been great on this apparatus. But Justin Medeiros is now getting set to close things out and looking at an event win well ahead of the pace set by Saxon Panchik. Medeiros with one final rep. And Justin Medeiros is going to pick up the event win in Nessie. Hit the buzzer, young man. Hit the buzzer.
Hey, let's go. He was fired up. Sometimes you kind of just check out and go black there for periodically. But wow, what we talk about momentum, Sean. What a way to start the weekend.
Well, Pat Vellner is still battling with Jake Crouch for second place. He's had a rep lead on him. Vellner back to work. This could come down to a sprint to the finish. One rep remaining for Crouch. So Vellner just closed out his second to last rep. That's the final rep for Crouch. Crouch is going to take second place. And here comes Pat Vellner. Oldest man in the field, finishing third in the event. Ricky Garrard has moved into fourth place with Yona Koski. Koski's off ahead of Garrard. And here comes Ricky, who made a good charge late. These are the top 5 scorers in the event. All of these men getting in ahead of Saxon Panchik's mark of 10:06.58 seconds. And now Jeff Adler with a couple reps remaining. And Jason Hopper has 7 to go. He's on the left side in that green shirt. Final rep for Adler. Is now times from heat number 1 are starting to factor in here. Adler's done. Now, no surprise that Justin Medeiros won this event. He also won the Log Muscle Up event at the Rogue Invitational in 2022 as James Sprague has 1 rep left. Sprague is up and over, and the 2024 CrossFit Games champion makes his way to the finish line. Krennikov, Hopper, and Gudmundsson still on the floor. So the log strikes again for Jason Hopper as Roman Krennikov is across.
Yeah, and you wonder, I mean, it's certainly the log. We knew Jason was going to have some struggles here, but even coming through the early part of that chipper, it looked like he had run into a bit of a wall. He looked gassed kind of coming into this.
Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson is done. And Hopper is up and over, and he will get it inside the time cap, but not the start he wanted to his 2025 Rogue Invitational. 11:41.78 seconds.
Didn't want to have to do that, but time to go recover. Thank you.
Justin Medeiros, 9:46 flat. He was the last man off the double unders, but what a charge after that portion of this event.
Yeah, 8:46 flat, 8:46.
It's my eyes.
No, listen, that's because he put on a superhuman show just now. That's why you were like, oh, okay, it's got to be logical, 9:46. No. This guy, what a way to start the weekend.
Lane assignments. Paige Rogers, who was so impressive in that opening event, will be in lane number 5. And then 2 podium finishers from the CrossFit Games in lanes 2 and 3, Lucy Campbell and Olivia Kerstetter. The opening heat has begun. Start with 5 clean and presses on the 150-pound, 68-kilo log.
Paige making pretty good work of this. I like her intentionality with jumping that thing over her head. There's a little bit of hesitation there, which tells me she's not as confident as some of the other women. We see Olivia Kerstetter, we see Gracie Walton making quick cycle rate of this log from ground to overhead. But nonetheless, Paige finds herself just a couple reps away from finishing this round.
Kerstetter's already through her 5 reps. Moves to the 445-pound, 207-kilo yoke. Lucy Campbell right behind her. And Grace Walton is done as well. Kerstetter will be the first to the opening power pin. 225 pounds to move up those stairs. Lucy Campbell onto the power pin for the first time along with Grace Walton. Paige Rogers is moving the yoke. You can see her in the background. And Elisa Fuliano is there with Rogers on the first yoke carry as Kerstetter is back to start round 2.
That pin created a little bit more of an obstacle there for Gracie Walton than we've seen so far for athletes. She had to really consider picking that thing up each time and making sure she created the appropriate amount of clearance to get it over the next step.
Olivia Kerstetter's already through 2 reps. You see the weights of the implements in the bottom left-hand part of your screen. If she was in high school, she was overhead squatting 270 pounds and split jerking the same weight. High school, Adrian.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wasn't doing that in high school, Sean. This is where I'd like to really see Olivia, though, lean into her strengths. She is pound for pound one of the strongest women when it comes to moving external objects. And I think that this is where we want to see her learn how to lay down the gas pedal. 3rd at the CrossFit Games. Believe in yourself. Pull away from athletes in your heat. And that's what it's going to need to take for her to continue to level up and be consistently that person on top of the podium.
As a teenager at the CrossFit Games in 2021, she snatched 202 pounds. That was the most of any female.
Yeah, when you read those kind of metrics, Sean, and then understand her age and then the success that she's had this early in her career, she's playing with a very stacked deck of cards, if you will. Her focus is going to be on building her stamina, building her endurance, and of course her mental resiliency to be able to compete with these other women at a stage like this.
Grace Walton has now moved ahead of Lucy Campbell for 2nd place, but Olivia Kerstetter is just running away with this thing. She's moving back to the log for the 3rd and final time. Walton is on the yoke. And now Lucy Campbell starting her 2nd carry. So Olivia Kerstetter is all by herself in the lead. Final round of clean and presses on the log for Kerstetter.
No problems for her thus far. No hesitations, no sticking points. And there's her first miss. The log was out in front of her just a touch. She's got to get her elbows in front of that thing a little bit more before she jumps it over her head.
Kerstetter 14th place after the opening event.
This is where you consider stepping into a split jerk, Sean. It might increase your cycle rate so you don't have to rest as long, but it makes it easier to lock out. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back might be the way to go.
Grace Walton is into round 3. And Lucy Campbell picking up the chalk on her way back to the log for the final time.
Fuliano and Reynolds still there making their way through, or Rogers making their way through the yoke carry.
And that's the last rep for Olivia Kerstetter. This will be a leisurely stroll for her. 445 pounds, 207 kilos on the yoke. And Kerstetter has had no problems with this. And then one final power pin. And Kerstetter going to set the early mark to beat here in the opening heat. Kerstetter getting hung up on that last stair. She's got to get it completely over that red line. She does, makes the touch on the buzzer, and Olivia Kerstetter takes the opening heat. 5:07.10 seconds. Now Walton to the yoke for the last time.
Grace Walton with a smile for William Wallace. She likes being under that 445.
Lucy Campbell in the background, finishing up her final yoke carry. Walton to the top of the power stairs, hits the buzzer, and she is done.
Give it up for Lucy Campbell.
Solid finish there for Lucy Campbell.
6 minutes and change for Campbell. Rogers has 3 reps remaining. I mean, her cycle time hasn't been as fast, but that rep looked just as good as some of her openers.
Yeah, it did. It looks, and that makes you question, is it the clean that's creating the hesitancy? Again, from a success perspective, Sean, instead of that muscle clean, which she's using right there at the top of the screen, where when her hips extend, they stay open, so she's using her arms a lot. That's not what we've seen successful today so far. Roman Krennikov did the exact same thing. Got it to his lap, extended his hips, curled it up. That was a little bit better. At least she moved her feet there. But that jump reduces the time under tension. And for us CrossFit athletes, we're more familiar with that sensation like a barbell than just muscling it up.
Fuliano and Rogers, the last 2 athletes on the floor, and we're now into the final minute before the time cap. Fuliano has 1 rep remaining here.
Yeah, she's one of the lighter athletes in the field too. So you talk about all this external loading, Sean, from the log to the yoke to the pin. It gets really heavy when you're one of the smaller stature athletes in the field.
Rogers is on to the final power pin. Should have enough time to get in inside the time cap.
Halfway there, 20 seconds remaining. Come on, Aberdeen. There she comes.
Fuliano's going to get capped, but Rogers is going to make it. 7:51.30 seconds. Fuliano looking to get credit for that rep. And that'll do it. But Olivia Kerstetter, 5:07.10 seconds. She was 40 seconds better than Walton.
And that's how you do it. 3rd fittest woman on earth. She's flexing it a little bit here at the Rogue Invitational.
I mean, just wired. And 5 women in the second of 4 heats. Spiegel will be in lane 4. Another athlete to keep an eye on here. Lane 3 is Emma Tall.
I like Emma Tall. I think last year we saw her at the fraction of her fitness capacity. She's going to be a threat. She started this weekend at 11th. This is an event that I like the way it plays out for her strengths as an athlete.
Emma Tall took 11th place in the opening event. First of 3 rounds, 5 reps on the clean and press. Event description, the bottom left-hand part of your screen. No rep early for Paige Semenza. Danny Spiegel's now through 3 of the 5 reps. Spiegel's in the background there with her hands on the log. Now just cleaned it. And she's done. So Danny Spiegel will move to the yoke first. Now this is an event that we really have not seen a lot of lead changes in, and Spiegel is out front early. Emma Tall is done with her set of 5. She's moving to the log, pardon me, the yoke. Tall in the all black right behind Spiegel. And Abby Doman has just closed out her first set of clean and press on the log.
Yeah, both these women having no problem with the yoke whatsoever. I don't see that being any type of limiter. It's going to be these transitions and that rep for rep competition that comes down over at the log.
Danny Spiegel is done with round 1. Emma Tall is through as well as Abby Doman is lugging that yoke across that red line.
This is what we talk about as one of those keys is lost in transition. This is where you can't settle for what's comfortable. No one wants to hustle back to that log for more of those ground overhead. You just don't. But Spiegel was willing to get there quick and get right to work.
And Spiegel, like we saw Jason Hopper for the men earlier, keeping her hands on that log.
Yep. And just like we saw from Hatfield, we saw from Hopper, we saw some from Sprague, she's treating it just like a power clean off the floor. Yes, it's a bigger apparatus, but she speeds it up as she goes past her knees, jumps it right to her shoulders, and jumps it right overhead.
That's the final rep in round 2 for Danny Spiegel. She maintains her lead over Emma Tall, who has 2 reps remaining on the log in round 2. Abby Domet heading the other way as Danny Spiegel heads to the yoke for the second time. Paige Semenza at the bottom of your screen. That's her first carry. Talk about keys here to this event.
Yeah, the keys, the first one's going to be lean back, and we've seen that play out already, Sean. We've seen the athletes that are having success are leaning back on the log when it comes to shoulder overhead. They create space for the log to travel vertically, and they do great at bracing their abdominals and their erectors in their back. This is a unique position for us. And then lost in transition, it's Spiegel. Look at her even going into a run as she makes her way back to the power stairs to grab a hold of that pin.
Danny Spiegel trying to chase down Olivia Kerstetter's top time of 5:07.10 seconds. £225 on that power pin.
These power stairs are just like a partial deadlift. It's very similar to the initiation of a kettlebell swing off the ground.
Spiegel into her third and final round. Emma Tall to the top. And they are the only 2 women who are into round 3. Abby Domet there on the right.
Wow.
Just finished up her second set of 5 reps on the log. 68 kilos, 150 pounds.
Spiegel's clean and press looking the same now. 14 reps in as they did in the beginning.
That may have been the first time that she actually stepped back. Spiegel's through her third set of 5. And it should be smooth sailing for Danny Spiegel. 5:07.10 seconds. That's the top time from Olivia Kerstetter. Could be in danger here. Spiegel to the final power pin as Emma Tall closes out her last set of clean and presses. This one's going to be close.
Yeah, she's got to go.
Looks like she's got it. She doesn't get hung up. Danny Spiegel should have the new top time, and she does. 5:05.23, about a second and a half faster than Kerstetter, and that's where you start to look at the transitions, is what you've been talking about with the keys. If Spiegel doesn't hustle on some of those, she does not have the top time.
That's right. Gosh, you can even think back, Sean, to Olivia Kerstetter missing that ground to overhead. Like she really could have had more separation even there, and it will come into play. But it is those transitions that really matter a ton. And I also think what was able to create a lot of good separation between her and Emma Tall.
Every second, go.
You hear Spiegel yelling at her every second. They both know and are very aware. Every second does count.
Tall is in. 5:45.73 seconds.
You just don't go anywhere else, Sean. You don't play any other sports that I'm aware of outside of the CrossFit space. I think we see it in strongman and strongwoman too, where they support one another, but you're just rooting for your competition, and it sounds naturally a bit illogical, but that's that power of community that we got here.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think if you just watch CrossFit or if you just watch strongman, the two similarities between both of those, as you mentioned, is the sense of community. I mean, very tight-knit groups here that do cheer for each other, try to help each other out. It's been cool to be introduced to both of those sports. You know, a little later to strongman, but it is the same feel. It's bunch of great people just trying to get strong and help each other out in the process.
Yeah, I love it. And we see Haley Adams chipping away 1 rep at a time. Her and Semenza.
Semenza's in round 2 right now. Adams has 1 final yoke carry and then 1 power pin remaining. Less than a minute to go for the time cap. Adams toting that thing up the stairs, 225 pounds.
Nice.
And that'll do it for Haley Adams, 7:27.41 seconds. Now the question is, can Abby Domit make it in? She just finished up her third set. She's on the yoke on the left side of your screen, now middle. And that break might cost her.
Yeah, that break could do it, Sean. She needed to hold on to that thing to give herself an opportunity. Because it seems like athletes need at least 15 to 17 seconds to get all the way up that stair.
Yeah, Domit and Semenza are going to get capped.
3, 2, 1.
And that'll do it. Danny Spiegel just edging out Olivia Kerstetter for the new top time, 5:05.23 seconds. And once again, the early leader hangs on. Anytime there's a bunch of heavy stuff out on the floor, you know Danny Spiegel's going to do really well. And she got through those first 5 reps in round 1 extremely. Emma Lawson will be in lane number 3, a pair of Canadian athletes out there. Emily Rolfe in lane number 1. Brooke Wells is another athlete to keep an eye on here. .5:05.23 seconds, that's the top time. Danny Spiegel did that in heat number 2. 5 reps on the clean and press on the log, 150 pounds at 68 kilos.
Brooke Wells starting off with a lot of ferocity and speed here with these ground overhead. Looking smooth. Intentionally taking breaks. Looks confident.
Anganese and Wells done it about the same time, and now Anganese is going to be the first woman to the yoke, but Wells is right there with her, and now Wells is slightly ahead of Anganese on this opening yoke carry, and the two will head to the power pin together for the first time. 225 pounds that they have to take to the top of the stairs. And on Anganese is through round 1.
Yeah, looking smooth there. Made no hesitation. What I really like about Anganese is when she got to the power stairs, she put the pin on the stairs immediately. There was no pause. She didn't put it back on the ground. She allowed that first initial pickup to walk with it to reward her and momentum going upward. Emily Rolfe just...
getting that log clean. Sorry, Adrian.
No, that's my fault. I was just making a comment that Emily Rolfe was just finishing up her ground overhead there from round 1.
Yeah, she and Maddie Sturt towards the back of the pack here in heat 3. Anganese now through 2 of those 5 reps in round 2. There's Rolfe, long blue pants, getting her hands on the power pin. Maddie Sturt in the white shirt there with her.
Sturt doing a good job, making good clearance every time she lifts those plates up. A non-issue for her. She's not going to be in a hurry to make it back to this log. Anganese with only 1 rep left here.
She will get through that, keeps herself ahead of Brooke Wells. But only slightly.
And I love that urgency, Sean. I mean, I love that competitor's urgency she just showed there. Again, we're getting into this settling point where a lot of times your body's telling you no. You want to feel the rest. You're feeling the burn in your arms and your legs. For this workout, it's all around your spine and your abs and your erectors. And these athletes are denying that feeling in order to compete. They're pushing and pushing and pushing. That's what you love to see.
Wells able to close the gap a little bit again on the yoke carry, and now hustling up as she moves back to the power pin for the second time. So this is the tightest race we've seen so far for the women in any of the heats. Both Kerstetter and Spiegel just ran away with theirs.
And that's that separator there. Manon choosing to put that first step to work as she carries it over with the duck walk. Brooke instead sets it back on the ground, and she loses a little bit of momentum and distance to Manon each round on there.
Well, the top time is 5:05.23 seconds. Manon Anganese and Brooke Wells are into the third and final round. Emma Lawson is in the middle of your screen, going to the yoke to finish up her second carry.
All right, Wells beats Anganese off the ground for the first rep.
Manon Anganese is making her fourth appearance here at the Rogue Invitational, and she's been 9th, 10th, and 11th. Brooke Wells in the lead here through 3 of the 5 reps in this third and final round. Finished 18th in event number 1. Again, announcing her retirement earlier this year. Got a no rep there.
That was a tough one there. You could hear her say what. She wasn't certain of what happened there, but the judge's call is that she didn't open her hip, so she has to stand it up all the way after her arms are locked out.
Well, the good news is she's still ahead, at least for her, of Manon Anganese, who's keeping her hands on that log. This will be the final rep for Wells. She locks it out. And now to the yoke for the final time. So Danny Spiegel's going to hang on to the top mark. Anganese is done onto the yoke. Wells has been faster on this portion of the event all 3 times.
Let's see if Brooke puts down the pin, though. So this pin stack, she'll set it to the ground. And right here, okay, she feels that pressure from Anganese. Anganese is going to put it right on the stairs.
Well, now they're even. Anganese is making up some ground here. This is going to be close. Wells gets it across the line, makes the touch. He's going to take the heat. 5:34.83 seconds. Anganese is second behind her, and Danny Spiegel, though, still your event leader at 5:05.23 seconds. Tightest race we have seen so far for the women in any of the heats.
This is where it turns into a bit of a slugfest. You got to really go to battle with that log. These women are all breathing extremely heavy, and they're struggling with some form of the ground overhead. It could be the clean, it could be the shouldered overhead. But regardless, they got to continue to stay positive and tell themselves 1 rep at a time, figure it out and troubleshoot whatever mechanics they're struggling with, and get the work done.
Emma Lawson in the middle of the screen in the all black has 1 rep remaining. Emily Rolfe with 3 left. All the athletes are in their third and final round. Lawson, Rolfe, and Sturt.
Yeah, Emma looks so smooth ground overhead. You wonder if that was a confidence issue, how she chose or settled into her pacing, because all things from a mechanics perspective tells me that she could have been doing that a bit faster.
Lawson has finished on the podium here twice at the Rogue Invitational. The other 2 times that she competed here, 2022 and 2023, and she was third both times.
Put it on the stair. Good. Great choice there. Don't have to do extra work by setting it back on the ground.
Work smart, not hard.
That's right.
Lawson's through with time to spare. 30 seconds to go before we hit the time cap. 7:27.69 seconds. This is the final rep on the log for Rolfe, and she's going to have to hurry.
Sean, I know that she was limited this year by an upper body injury. I believe it was her elbow. You wonder if that shouldered overhead is something she hadn't been able to spend a lot of time redeveloping and building capacity and confidence back with for this year's competition season quite yet.
Rolfe and Sturt are going to run into the time cap. Brooke Wells is going to take the heat, 5:34.83 seconds, and Danny Spiegel is going to hang on to the top time. 5:05.23 with one heat remaining here in event number 2. For the first time in 3 heats, we had a really good race between Brooke Wells and lane assignments. Laura Horvath will be in lane number 3, and Danielle Brandon right next to her in lane number 2. Laura Horvath is the only other woman than Tia Toomey to actually win this competition. Toomey's won it 4 times. Horvath's won it twice. Danielle Brandon got herself off to a great start, looking to continue that momentum here in event 2. Final heat is underway. 5 reps on the 150-pound log, 68 kilos to start us off, and Alex Gazan can definitely do some damage in this event.
Yeah, that's right. We know sometimes she can be limited by overhead mobility. This is not going to present a problem for her. She's doing a great job at even jumping it like a traditional clean and then jumping it right overhead. I love the aggressiveness that we're seeing here, Sean. You alluded to it earlier, but we haven't seen many leads change coming out of the first round. So what kind of pace can you establish right here, right now?
Well, Gazan is the first woman done with her opening set of clean and press on that log, and right to work on the yoke. 445 pounds, 207 kilos, and that was no problem for Gazan. And now Lowen, Raptis, Horvath, and Brandon on the yoke. So probably the tightest heat we've seen so far through round 1.
Yeah, just out to a blistering pace. These athletes all doing a great job at lifting it to the first stair right out of the gate, which is why we haven't seen anyone set it down. Brandon sets it down on the ground there.
Alex Gazan kind of got hung up on those stairs, and now Laura Horvath is right on her heels along with Ariel Lowen. Danielle Brandon gets that over the red line and currently bringing up the rear here in heat 4. 5:05.23 seconds. That's the time to beat from Danny Spiegel. Alex Gazan continues to lead here through her first of 5 reps in round 2.
Alex doing a great job at staying aggressive here. It's where we start to see some of the athletes step away from the log, take longer breaks. It's almost like she's forcing her hands to stay glued to that thing.
This is the 3rd straight year that Gazan has competed at the Rogue Invitational. As you can see the weights on the implements on the bottom left-hand part of your screen. She's been inside the top 5 both times, 5th in 2023, 4th in 2024. And a woman who should be contending for a spot on the podium by the end of the weekend, onto the yoke for the 2nd time and starting to open up a lead on the rest of the field here.
Yeah, no hesitation, no slowing whatsoever. As we even see Laura, we even seen Ariel all taking steps away back from their log. And that middle round right there is where Alex had the ability to, what we would categorize as break the chain and pull away from this heat, and she's doing just that.
Well, this is the part of the event that kind of slowed her down in the first round. Laura Horvath was able to catch her on this part. Now Horvath is just getting into the yoke along with Raptis and Brandon. Ariel Lowen has moved into 2nd place. She's in the white top heading back to the power stairs.
Well, and I'll tell you, Sean, this is one of those apparatus that they don't necessarily have a ton of access to in the back, so I'm sure they mimic it with things that they can do to get prepared, but you almost have to feel it out from a skill perspective. It looks like she has figured it out on that round.
Gazan into the 3rd and final round, and if she can pull off the win here, and depending how everything else shakes out, there's a chance that Alex Gazan could be your overall leader, but she's got to pick up the win here. Laura Horvath is now trying to stay ahead of Danielle Brandon and Alexis Raptis for 3rd place in this heat. Gazan through 2 of her final 5 reps. Lowen is just getting started on her final set.
Oh, Ariel really putting herself in a tough situation there with that last clean and press. She's got to figure something out by dropping under that bar a little bit better here in this next rep.
Final rep here for Gazan in round 3, and she has a really good shot at chasing down Danny Spiegel. It's got a minute to go here. before Spiegel's time hits. Top 4 times in this event, bottom left-hand part of your screen. 2 seconds just separating Spiegel from Kerstetter. And there's a pretty big gap between Kerstetter and Wells for third, but Alex Gazan is looking to pick up the event win. And again, depending on how everything else shakes out, could find herself on top of the overall standings. Alex Gazan, welcome back to competition. An event win, 4:39.77 seconds, the only woman to go sub 5.
Wow.
Danielle Brandon, meanwhile, is in second place. Now, this is big for her because third place in this event is still up for grabs.
And that's what we talked
about,
about,
keep
Sean.
her on top of the leaderboard.
That's right. We talked about an opportunity for her to bank points. It's going to be huge as the events continue to roll out this weekend.
Danielle Brandon is in, and that should be a third place finish in the event. Laura Horvath right behind her. She got hung up. She makes the touch. 5:15 for Horvath. That'll be a top 5 finish. Raptis is in, and here comes Ariel Lowen. So Danielle Brandon, huge performance from her as Lowen makes the touch. But Alex Gazan could move into the top 3. Danielle Brandon with that third place finish unofficially, or make it fourth place. It's going to be tight between her and Brandon, or pardon me, her and Gazan. Not much is going to be separating those two. Well, Alex Gazan, first heat underway. Uldis Upniks, Heinrich Happelainen, Harry Lightfoot, Colton Mertens, and Fabian Hermans. Opening things up here, 3 rounds. We start with the 5-log clean and press here at 215 pounds.
Yeah, we're already seeing how much of a bear fight this is going to be with that log press for these athletes as we watch Harry Lightfoot take it from ground to overhead. Exactly what Jerry was referring to. It's a row into your lap, then you jump and shrug that thing to the front rack position, which we're very familiar with a clean, but it's a very different movement than a traditional barbell clean and jerk, no doubt about it. Mertens, the first one off, making his way to that 600-pound yoke.
They'll have to carry this 40 feet. There's Heinrich Happelainen, who's making his first appearance in competition since the Rogue Invitational last year. So Mertens is done. Happelainen and Lightfoot right behind him. And now they have to carry that 300-pound power pin up to the top of the stairs. Happelainen is there first. Lightfoot starting his ascent at about the same time as Mertens and Happelainen. Happelainen, Lightfoot, and Mertens are done with the opening round. You can see Harry Lightfoot wearing that red jersey. He has number 21 on the back as he was the 21st guy selected to be here.
You gotta love it. Not sitting in 21st place currently, coming out, starting the day with some good momentum. Harry looking to make a statement here if he can have a good finish.
With 10 reps per round, 1 rep each for the clean and press. The yoke counts as 1 rep, and then they get 1 rep for every stair they ascend on the way up to the top. This is the second of 3 rounds. Lightfoot with a strong performance in event number 1 in the opening heat. Good enough for 9th place overall.
This is where the reps start to really accumulate and build a unique aspect of fatigue for these athletes. They're not used to something that large in that front rack position. We watched Lightfoot there get a no rep. He did not show lockout at the top of that shoulder overhead.
The Mertens is off first again and onto the 605-pound yoke. He'll bring this 40 feet back. Heinrich Happelainen onto his second yoke carry as well. Mertens is done. Mertens making his first appearance at the Rogue Invitational since 2020. He took 9th place that year. And back to the power stairs goes Colton Mertens.
Yeah, and that initial waddle, that 10 feet that they have to travel with that power pin is not something that we can ignore. How athletes navigate that will be different from heat to heat. Colton, even the first one, set it down a few times before he started to go up the stairs, this time much more smooth.
Mertens through 2 of his 3 rounds and hustling back to the log as Haapalainen is now done. But Fabian Hermans is on to his second yoke carry. He's in the white shirt as Haapalainen's making his way back to the log to join Colton Mertens on his 3rd and final set of 5 reps.
Colton with a great and fast transition from his shoulders to the lockout. He's doing a great job lapping the log here, quickly getting into his shoulders, and look at how immediate then he just jumps it right over his head. This reduces the time it takes, of course, but he gets to breathe easier by putting that thing down really quick.
And Mertens 10th place after the opening event, so trying to get himself into that 2nd and final heat. As now Hermans is done and is working his way back to join Mertens and Haapalainen on their 3rd and final sets of that log press. Mertens is now done. The 1 final yoke carry, then 1 last ascent up the power stairs, and Colton Mertens looking to pick up a heat win in this opening of 4 heats.
Colton making this 600 pounds look much easier than it is, especially when you're already tired and breathing a tremendous amount. He does a great job stabilizing under that bar.
Now, this is a guy who knows a lot about just pure grunt work.
This is what we were talking about. This is how he navigated that first round. You can tell he's got a bit of fatigue in his grip and in his back. He's not ready to pick it up and carry it yet. Here we go. He's got to go.
Yeah, Haapalainen is starting to gain some ground. Mertens working his way up the stairs. I don't think Haapalainen is going to be able to catch him. Colton Mertens to the top, makes the touch of the buzzer, and he's in at 5:12.82 seconds to take heat number 1. Haapalainen is through as well at 5:18. There's an 8-minute time cap to this event, so 2.5 minutes to go before we run into that. 2nd of 9 events these men will face. And the 2nd of 3 that they will face here today to open things up at the 2025 Rogue Invitational. Fabian Hermans, who made it here through the online qualifier, onto the yoke for the final time.
Yeah, Fabian choosing a quick break there. It's better to choose rest before rest chooses you, especially with that yoke. Otherwise, you'll be standing around a long time before you're ready to pick that thing back up.
He gets right to work on the power pin and already has it up on 1 stair. And he is done. Fabian Hermans, 3rd place in the heat, 6:14.69 seconds. Leaves Lightfoot and Upniks out there on the competition floor. They're both in their 3rd and final rounds, and Lightfoot just got a no rep on his, what would have been his last log press.
Yeah, Harry's really having a very, very different strategy than we saw Mertens have success with. He takes a while to get that bar from the ground to his lap, then from his lap to his shoulders, hangs out for a second before he's ready to press it, and it just increases his time under tension. A much better rep.
Lightfoot makes his way to the yoke for the last time.
Yeah, this weight is nothing that these competitors can ignore, that 600 pounds. It looks so different in round 3 than it does in round 1, which you would expect. That 40 feet starts to look like a lot more like 40 yards.
A little more than 30 seconds to go before we run into the time cap. Lightfoot's going to make it inside of that. 1 last stair for him. And he's through 7:32 flat. And Uldis Upniks is actually being helped off the floor right now by the medical team. So we'll have to check on him.
And I believe that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for your heat.
Colton Mertens takes the opening heat, 5:12.82 seconds. And that is a guy that is just tailor-made for an event full of a bunch of grunt work. And Guy Mayeros will be in lanes 1 and 2. We are underway. Top time so far out of heat number 1. Colton Mertens, the Iron Hog, 5:12.82 seconds. Austin Hatfield so far your leader through 2 of these opening 5 reps. Now through 3. Hatfield in the black tank top. Chandler Smith, who should have no problem with this weight.
Well, Chandler's got a great history with that log. He did a great job slinging that thing around back in Texas. He had no problem shoulder overhead then, and he's showing slight work of it now. Really smooth and effective clean from the ground. Early arm bend, of course, to get it to his lap. And then an easy push jerk overhead. But it's Hatfield who's first to that yoke.
Hatfield with his first 40-foot yoke carry. 605 pounds loaded on that.
The one thing I'd like to see Austin do there is slow down just a touch, to be honest. He put that thing down. It wasn't on purpose. He just got a little bit ahead of himself and let his momentum take him forward. With that yoke, you've got to keep your feet under your hips.
274 kilos on that yoke, and now the first ascent up the stairs with that 300-pound power pin.
We saw from that first heat, a lot of these athletes are going to be neck and neck, head to head here on this first round, even through these power stairs. And once we get about 2 to 3 ground to overhead in with this log on the second round, that's where we're going to start to see some of the separation with their confidence going back for more.
Hatfield and Chandler Smith, your top 2 in this second heat. Saxon Panchik currently sits in 3rd, and Sam Kwon is in 4th. Guimaraes bringing up the rear right now in this second heat. Hatfield's to work on his second set of 5 log clean and jerks.
And what I like is he got right back to work, and these look exactly the same as they did in the first round. This efficiency that he's got, quick breather, he laps it and then quickly gets it to his shoulders and then quickly jumps it overhead. A little bit of a misstep there. That was probably his slowest shoulder overhead. But Austin's still looking good.
215 pounds, 97 kilos. Hatfield coming off that strong performance at the CrossFit Games, finished 5th place, and now on to the yoke for the second time.
And that jog that he just started with, Sean, that's what you like to see, a little bit of urgency. He knows this 600 pounds is going to feel like it's bearing down on his soul. Nonetheless, quick break, belt adjustment. This is where he's got to have urgency and get after it because Chandler Smith's coming quick.
Smith remaining in 2nd place. As he's now through his second set of 5.
I couldn't tell if Chandler was intentionally walking like Michael Myers there on Halloween or if it was just his natural cadence due to being out of breath.
Chandler Smith, another guy inside the top 10, finished 8th in the opening event. Hatfield just outside the top 10 after that opening event, 12th place overall. Now Smith is done, and he'll go back to the power stairs for another ascent with that 300-pound power pin. Hatfield to the top, and he's on to his 3rd and final round.
Yeah, and he looks good. Steady jog back to the start. That's what you like to see.
Saxon Panchik is still in 3rd place. Sam Kwon getting to the yoke now for the 2nd time. Hatfield has started his 3rd and final set of log clean and press and just got a no rep.
Saxon making his way back to the power stair here. An athlete that started with some solid momentum in event 1. He wants to continue to carry that through the weekend. It's got to be a place where he can still fight for a high amount of points.
Yeah, late addition to the field here after Dallin Pepper made the announcement that he wasn't going to be able to compete. Panchik went out and finished 6th in the opening event.
Hey, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's what they say, Sean, and he's doing a good job of that with his fitness, obviously. Coming to Rogue Invitational unnoticed and starting with a 6th, that's a wild experience.
Hatfield on his 5th and final rep. He got a no rep early, so had to go through 6 of those. He has 1 remaining now.
And that one was close. He did a great job saving that repetition by pressing it out with his strong triceps. Much cleaner there.
Hatfield moving to the yoke. Chandler Smith is just about done as well with his final round of log clean and press. Again, 215 pounds, 97 kilos there.
Great adjustment as we watch Chandler step into a split jerk. Way to call the audible. He's push jerked all the other reps. He put 1 foot in front of the other on that rep just to ensure he got that lockout.
Austin Hatfield is done with his yoke carry. He's onto the final power pin. Looking to overtake Colton Mertens' top time, and he is on pace to do it. So Austin Hatfield wins the heat and now has your top time. 5:09.78 seconds, about 3 seconds better than Mertens. And now Chandler Smith lugging that thing up the stairs. Smith is done. 5:29.86 for Chandler Smith, who has been part of every single Rogue Invitational. It's his 7th appearance here at this event. Saxon Panchik, now your leader on the floor. Again, 8-minute time caps, a little more than 2 minutes to go before we hit that. 605 pounds, 274 kilos on the yoke. Final 300-pound power pin for Panchik. Guimaraes done with his final yoke carries. He's passed Sam Quant for 4th. Last year, Guy had a great time with these power stairs on the dual event that he won.
Yes, he did. Bit of a different stimulus there. That workout certainly didn't last 6 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll tell you that.
Manos is done. And now Sam Quant for the final time. And that'll do it for Heat 2. Austin Hatfield edging out Colton Mertens now for the top time in the event. 3 seconds better than the Iron Hog. 5:09.78 seconds for Hatfield. Heat 3, and 2 men in the top 3 will be out on the floor. Jay Crouch, who currently sits in 2nd, he'll be in lane 3, and Pat Vellner, right now in 3rd place after event number 1, will be in lane number 2. A lot of veterans out there. Vellner, Gudmundsson, and Koski. That is a ton of experience on the competition floor.
So much experience, and then you got a previous CrossFit Games champion, James Briggs, smack dab right there in the middle. So this is a loaded field. It's one of those things that's, you know, we haven't even reseeded from the first event, and this lineup is just something that you get nowhere else in the space. This is what the people pay to come see right here.
Pat Vellner, like Chandler Smith, an athlete who has been in every single Rogue Invitational, and he is a 2-time champion here. Jay Crouch making his 3rd appearance here at the Invitational. His best finish was last year when he took 6th place overall.
And he's one of those guys, Sean, that can get overlooked from time to time. Jay, we see highlights of what he can be, and what we need to see from him over the next 3 days is that he can just string it together consistently.
And there's James Sprague, who, after winning the CrossFit Games in 2024, came here to the Rogue Invitational. He was dealing with some pneumonia before he was able to compete. Still finished 11th place overall, but he's been on a tear since then. 5:09.78 seconds. That's your top time from Austin Hatfield in heat number 2. Jona Koski, closest to the camera. Now through 2 of those 5 reps. James Sprague making some pretty quick work of that log, as is Pat Vellner.
Yeah, James almost treating it just like a traditional clean and jerk. He's really not lapping it at all. He's jumping it right as the bar passes his knees, and then immediately shouldered overhead.
Vellner is through, along with Crouch and Sprague. Sprague first man to the yoke. Time to beat in the upper right-hand part of your screen.
Here's what we know about James Briggs, Sean, is that he historically does very well in endurance events. It's a bit of in his DNA. That's where he excels. So a lot of his time spent in training is to work high power, high force output efforts, just like what William Wallace will demand of him. So we're going to really get a great example of how much his work is paying off in his training.
Sprague is in the lead after the first round, followed closely by Jay Crouch and Pat Vellner, Björgvin Gudmundsson and Jona Koski. The two Europeans in the field are making their way up the power stairs for the first time. And now they're through their first round. Sprague through 2 reps on the clean and press on that 215-pound, 97-kilo log.
James thus far has done a great job with a very sure lockout, meaning that when he jumps that thing right over his head, his elbows are locked out every time. He doesn't have to dance with it a ton. He doesn't have to press it out with his arms. He's using his whole body.
Vellner taking a break, chalking his hands. He and Crouch right next to each other, and both threw now 3 of their 5 reps as Sprague has closed out his second set, moving back to the yoke.
And this is where we've got to watch Pat. Historically, he can struggle with shoulder to overhead, so his lockout is something that we'll pay close attention to as the fatigue continues to build.
Crouch and Vellner making their way to the yoke for the second of 3 times as Sprague is now on the power pin to close out round 2.
And he put his hands right on that pin and made it right his way to the stairs. That's where we saw a lot of athletes hesitate in the first 2 rounds. Was that second hand right back onto the pin. They took a couple breaths, then they got it going. He did not.
Sprague into his last round. Crouch and Vellner to the power pin at the same time. And Vellner is 1 step ahead of Jay Crouch. And the 2 of them are into the final round of this event. 5:09.78 seconds. That's the top time so far from Austin Hatfield, who did that in heat number 2. This is the 3rd of 4 heats here in the 2nd of 9 events that these men will face over the next 3 days. James Sprague continuing to lead. He has 3 reps remaining on this final set of clean and press on the 215-pound log.
James still looking very sharp, and this is where he has to have that urgency, internal clock to really push his threshold to pick it up again.
And Vellner's a rep ahead of Crouch. Sprague to the yoke for the final time. 605 pounds, 274 kilos on the yoke for Sprague, who makes quick work of that. Vellner with 1 rep remaining as Sprague is onto his last power pin and looking to smash Austin Hatfield's time. And James Sprague, 4:13.83 seconds.
And I'm impressed here, Sean, even what Pat Vellner's about to finish up right here. His consistency with that log shoulder overhead throughout was a question mark, and he was able to execute cleanly. No reps, no hesitation.
Well, Vellner can lock up now what would be the 2nd best time in the event with 1 heat remaining. And Pat is in.
Like a fine wine.
And Jay Crouch, that's going to be the 3rd best time that we've seen, as all 3 of those men beat Austin Hatfield's mark of 5:09.78 seconds. Jona Koski and Björgvin Gudmundsson, the last 2 men on the floor. Koski with 2 reps remaining here in round 3 on the log.
Good there by Jona. This is almost akin to that log muscle up where watching this, friends and family are like, pick up, pick it up, pick it up. They just don't understand the focus and accuracy that goes into jumping that thing right where you need it to be overhead to lock it out.
I mean, you want to talk about experience. There's 21 games appearances between these 2 guys who are still out there on the field.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Consistency. Not only through their fitness, Sean, that they've been able to build and sustain through the years, but it's the durability that really astounds me. Their body's ability to tolerate the training volume and the intensity and do what they need to do to get to this level every year.
Jonakowski is done, and Gudmundsson will make it in well inside that time cap. And Gudmundsson is in, and that'll do it for the third of 4 heats. James Sprague at 4:13.83 seconds. Now, the top mark, and Vellner and Crouch have the second and third best time in the event with 5 men left to go.
Of course. Woo! Come on. Good job, Dave. Thank you very much.
Another case of a man leading wire to wire. As James Sprague got out early. Here are your lane assignments, as there are 2 former champions of the Rogue Invitational in lanes 1 and 3, Adler and Medeiros. Jason Hopper, of course, the defending CrossFit Games champion. All these guys have been on the podium.
This is the podium lineup
at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, this is what we come to see here. These top 5 men coming in, all gunning and all having intentions of standing on top of that podium at the end of this.
And Jeff Adler is the defending champion. He'll be in lane number 3. He's looking to make up some ground as he comes in 11th place overall. Justin Medeiros is going to lead the men out onto the floor. See Jeff Adler back there in the white shirt. Won the CrossFit Games for the first time in 2023. And last year, of course, the champion here. Been on the podium here a couple of times as well, outside of that first place finish.
Yeah, we talk about mindset mentality. Jeff has definitely got a champion's one. And we're going to get to see if his body and his training are all coming in alignment at the right time here for this year at the Rogue Invitational. This is going to be an opportunity for him to kind of right what happened even earlier. And he's going to get a chance at William Wallace. It's just going to happen with some strongman odd objects.
Jason Hopper trying to do what both Jeff Adler and Justin Medeiros have done, and that's win the CrossFit Games and the Rogue Invitational. And he's got a ton of ground to make up, though. Only the first event, so plenty of competition left. And Justin Medeiros trying to do something that only Tia Toomey has done here at the Rogue Invitational, and that is win the first 2 events. Fourth and final heat is underway. It's James Sprague with the top time at 4:13.83 seconds. Jason Hopper is kind of going touch and go along with Jeff Adler right next to him in the white shirt. The 2 of them have yet to take their hands off of that 215-pound log. Ricky Garrard also onto his final rep. Garrard's going to be the first man to the yoke, followed closely by Adler and Hopper.
Yeah, and that's what we saw. Sean, all 3 athletes in the middle, Garrard, Adler, Hopper, all had that quick shoulder to overhead and cadence, where the athletes on the outside, Krennikov and Justin Medeiros, have a pause there in that catch, and that's a separator.
Medeiros is on to the yoke. Top 3 men to the power stairs for the first time. 300-pound power pin. They got a lug to the top of that, and they'll close out round number 1. Adler and Garrard done at the same time, followed closely by Hopper. Justin Medeiros is making his initial ascent up the power stairs. Here comes Roman Krennikov, closing out his first yoke carry. And we start round 2. 5 more clean and press on the 215-pound, 97-kilo log as Roman Krennikov is closing out his first round.
Didn't necessarily expect to see Roman so far back with these odd objects. I was thinking this is going to be an opportunity for him to make some moves. But we see him here, and I think a lot of that's the result in the way that he approached this log. We're going to see if he adapts and changes anything going into round 2.
Adler is slightly ahead of Hopper here. Garrard currently sits in 3rd place, but not by much. As now Jason Hopper has taken the lead, but Adler is right behind him. Adler just finished up his 5th and final rep. 2 of them hustling back to the yoke. 605 pounds, 274 kilos.
Yeah, these athletes both being very aware of where each other are. Hopper, even on his way back to that log, started to jog and then slowed his pace when he realized Adler and Gerard, neither of them were running. And at this point, I think now he's like, okay, maybe this is a race that I can really win by running my own. And he's got a little bit more urgency, it seems, without regard for where the other two are.
They had another bad result in an event that featured that log muscle up, 18th place. Outside looking in, as you mentioned earlier, Adrian, but looking to change that here as he now leads in the third and final heat. Jeff Adler, though, is right behind him. Roman Krennikov still on the log in round 2 as Gerard is finished with his second climb up the power stairs. Hopper right to work. Adler through his first rep.
Hopper just caught a rep very forward with his arms soft. He's got to punch it back and really lock him out. Much better way to recover there by Jason. That last rep concerned me. I was like, oh no, he's going to find himself in a bad spot.
Yeah, he's starting to lose that forward a little bit. That one was close. Final rep for Hopper. Nails that one. Adler onto his final rep. Adler just closed out his set, and Jason Hopper opening up a lead. Now can he catch James Sprague? 4:13.83 seconds. Hopper's got plenty of time.
Yep.
But Jason Hopper looking to go from nearly last to first. 18th place in the opening event. That is going to change here as Jason Hopper, the 2025 fittest man on earth, picks up the event win. Sub 4, 3:45.55 seconds. Jeff Adler can pick up a second place finish as he goes sub 4. That's huge for him. Both of these men on the outside looking in, looking to rocket up the standings and put themselves inside the top 10. Heading into event 3, Ricky Gerard to the yoke for the last time. As he, Medeiros, and Krennikov are still out there on the floor. Medeiros has 1 rep remaining on his third set. Latia Toomey will remain the only athlete to ever win the opening 2 events of the Rogue Invitational. She did that twice.
And that's exactly what you wanted to see from Hopper and Adler coming in. Adler with an 11th place to start the day, even isn't in a place where he necessarily wants to be. So outside looking in, both these men are going to find their self climbing the podium. Ricky Gerard across in 4:42.
And Justin Medeiros up the power stairs for the final time, and it's going to be tight on top of the overall standings. Because now times from the prior heats are starting to factor in. Medeiros in at 4:55.49 seconds. So Roman Krennikov with 3 reps remaining, less than 3 minutes to go before he runs into the time cap.
Roman opting to use a bit of a more traditional strongman style clean here. When he laps this weight, he extends his hips and keeps them extended, almost muscle curling that thing up. Whereas a lot of these athletes earlier that had the most success were treating it more like an Olympic lift. They jumped and jumped to get it to the front rack and then to overhead.
Final rep for Roman Krennikov. Goes with the split jerk, and it works.
I like that choice there for him.
Last yoke carry for Roman. Been on the podium here at the Rogue Invitational before. He was 3rd in 2023.
Yeah, Roman's one of those athletes that when events are simple and the demand is simply on local muscle endurance in your heart and your lungs, boy, he's got it and can take it at any time.
And that'll close out event 2 for the men. Jason Hopper picks up his 7th career event win here at the Rogue Invitational, the most of any man. And it came at a great time after that 18th place result. Again, with 150 points, can move some weight as well. And Danielle Brandon looking to hang on to the top spot on the overall leaderboard, although in the past we have seen Brandon struggle with the back squat. So first of 2 heats is underway. Paige Rogers getting into the barbell. 225 pounds, 102 kilos for the women.
Sean, this is going to be one of those events, just like we saw for the men, where we could potentially see the event winner right here in heat number 1.
There are your lane assignments here for this first of 2 heats. Olivia Kerstetter in lane 3, keep your eye on her. Another athlete who likes a heavy barbell. Danny Spiegel in lane 7 onto the dumbbell snatch, as is Grace Walton. 70 pounds, 32 kilos.
Gracie going singles. Not to panic, anyone watching along. We saw that play out wonderfully for some of these male athletes in the last event in the second heat.
Olivia Kerstetter in the all black in the middle of your screen. Just saw her finish 14th in the opening event, then moved all the way up to 8th after a 3rd place finish in event 2. There's Danny Spiegel, who took 2nd place in the last event. Spiegel never met a heavy sandbag she didn't like.
Nope, and she's the one, Sean, we got to keep her out on. What was Colton split on that first round at 202? She's going to be right there chasing some of those splits down, I believe.
Saw the weights for the women on the bottom right-hand part of your screen. The sandbag, 100 pounds, 45 kilos. 30 reps per round. Spiegel is 4 away from closing out round number 1. At the top of your screen, now in the middle. Abby Doman on the right side, starting her first set of 10 sandbag cleans.
James brought up a really great point, covering his success. And if the women were paying attention, hopefully they could garner a lesson. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, especially in an event just like this, where we know you're breathing, having a fine breathing in so many different positions, from the squat to the snatch to the sandbag. It pays off to pace early and go fast later.
Spiegel, Kerstetter, Emma Tall, who's in the middle in the white shirt, and then Grace Walton at the bottom of your screen. The leaders here in heat number 1. Back to the 225-pound barbell for 10 more back squats.
Spiegel remaining composed through her squat reps. Relative to a 1 rep max, this is going to be lighter for Danny than it will be to many of the women in the field. Choosing to take a break there, 6-4 on this second round.
Spiegel's done very well the past couple years here at the Rogue Invitational. This is the 5th time she's competed at this competition. She was 7th in 2024. That's her career best here. She's only finished outside of the top 10 once. Grace Walton finishing just ahead of Spiegel. Kerstetter's done as well. And Danny Spiegel is onto the dumbbell. Walton on the left side of your screen in the light blue top. Kerstetter next to her in the all black.
I think singles on these snatches is a really wise move, and we're starting to see it be applied by many of the women on the field. It just helps keep your heart rate a little bit lower. You're looking to reconcile maybe 5 to 7 seconds per round by going touch and go if you're steady with your singles, and it's totally worth it if it helps you stay more composed on the back squats.
Kerstetter is the first woman done with her second set of dumbbell snatches. Back to the 100-pound sandbag for 10 more cleans. Walton is finished as well.
Olivia looks completely in control here. Pacing almost with that James Sprague type approach, where she's leaving a little bit in the tank early, giving herself the chance to race late.
Danny Spiegel is onto the sandbag as well, so it's Kerstetter, Walton, and Spiegel, your top 3. 120 total reps in this event, and then pressing the buzzer counts as an extra rep. Kerstetter down to her final 2 reps. Danny Spiegel trying to put some pressure on Gracie Walton for second place in the heat right now. Kerstetter is halfway through the event. Kerstetter into round 3, 10 reps at 225 pounds on the back squat, 102 kilos.
Great job there by Olivia. Minimal time waste. She stayed pretty close to the bar, got right to work.
So Danny Spiegel and Grace Walton are done at about the same time with their second of 4 sets on the sandbag. They're into round 3. 16-minute time cap, 10 minutes remain.
Olivia moving through this very methodically. Not much urgency. Really using the bottom of her squat to rebound her out of the hole so she saves a little bit of energy in her musculature.
Kerstetter started CrossFit when she was 9 years old. And of course, under the tutelage of Jacob Hebner for a while.
Yeah, you grow up doing it like that. Jacob Hebner will take this as nothing but a compliment. But when you learn from a maniac like Jacob Hebner, that is, when I say maniac, a Metcon maniac, one of the toughest breathers ever that existed in our space.
Lucy Campbell is currently in 4th place in the heat. Campbell right now in 15th place overall.
Gotta love it. A variation of the split snatch here. She's choosing to go touch and go. Notice how subtle it is. She's almost muscling it up, and instead of rebending at the hip, she just steps back. Casually, steps forward to claim the rep. You learn lessons like that only through exploration. Never forget to explore your movement, folks. Don't just do the standards the way you see them on TV or the way you see other people doing them.
Olivia Kerstetter, middle of your screen, and the all-black continues to lead. She is through 5 of her 10 reps on the sandbag here in round 3. So 1 round remains for Kerstetter after this, halfway to the time cap.
This is where we start to see a lot of those rounds. The splits that athletes have established start to drop off.
Kerstetter is done and back to the barbell for the 4th and final time for 10 more back squats at 225 pounds, 102 kilos. Kerstetter coming off that 3rd place finish in event 2, looking for another top 5 finish to close out her opening day. Coming off that podium finish at the CrossFit Games.
And Olivia knows it. Yeah, I mean, these back squats even look a little bit faster in regards to a cadence versus her last round here.
5 more back squats to go, and it's a final
Yep.
round for Olivia Kerstetter.
She's holding on. Great choice. Love to see it. Felt the slowing start to happen with the barbell. Knew she was just going to stand there to wait for the next rep. Better to rack and rest.
Well, Danny Spiegel currently in 2nd place, and Lucy Campbell has moved ahead of Grace Walton into 3rd. Kerstetter putting the finishing touches on this 4th and final set of back squats as Spiegel and Campbell get to work. And now on to the dumbbell for Olivia Kerstetter for the final time.
Spiegel certainly pacing this thing out differently than I expected she might. I thought she'd be a little bit more reckless with those barbell reps in and out of the squat faster. Seems like she's a little bit more limited by her back than she would be her legs.
4 reps left for Danny Spiegel, 5 remain for Lucy Campbell. You can see her on the right side of your screen. Campbell's now moved into 2nd place behind Kerstetter. Kerstetter has now finished her set of 10 dumbbell snatches, and she moves to the 100-pound sandbag for the 4th and final time. Danny Spiegel trying to retake 2nd place in the heat from Lucy Campbell. They're in the middle of your screen towards the top.
Lucy's got to keep her pace. She doesn't want to race Danny at the sandbag.
Olivia Kerstetter has 4 reps remaining. Danny Spiegel and Lucy Campbell done at the same time on the right side of your screen. And Lucy Campbell was able to talk to our broadcast crew here before the event. She said this event is going to be, in her words, disgusting when you get to the sandbag. And she's on it for the 4th time now, racing with Danny Spiegel for 2nd place. Olivia Kerstetter is in and takes the heat, 11:38.59 seconds. Spiegel has a 2-rep lead on Campbell. Campbell's on the right, Spiegel's on the left. 1 rep remains for Spiegel. And Danny Spiegel takes 2nd place, 12:05.94. And now Lucy Campbell taking 3rd place in the heat at 12:18.
This tax collector event is certainly one that is creating a tremendous amount of demand from the lower body, but never underestimate the value of having a strong core. On every one of these movements, if you've got any kind of thing you're dealing with from a back, from an abdominal, from a lack of balance from the front and the back of your body on your abdominals and your erectors, it's going to get exposed here.
3 minutes, athletes. 3 minutes.
Grace Walton, your leader on the floor, the only woman on her final round of sandbag cleans. Now, check that Emma Tall. Is looking to join her. Tall on the white shirt on the dumbbell snatches for her 4th and final set.
And this is that part of the event where athletes really got to dig deep. They know there's another heat waiting to take the floor. Every second's gonna count and it's gonna matter. There's gonna be a ton of disparity. It's not that we're just gonna see the first heat come out and wipe the floor with this thing and crush all these times. It's not gonna be the case at all. These athletes have to stay aware of that.
Grace Walton is in. 14.61. Haley Adams in the middle of the floor is getting set to close out round 3. Emma Tall is your leader in the white shirt, stepping up to the sandbag for the final time. She's got 90 seconds to get those last 10 reps in.
90 seconds. Yeah, plenty of time to finish. Got to push here. Yeah, she's doing a great job staying close to that sandbag.
Every rep counts. This is one tough finale for day 1 of competition. Athletes, we are approaching that 1-minute warning.
Let's not forget, Sean, this is event 3 of a very long day to open up this year's Rogue Invitational. Yet it is day 1, my friend. This is going to test some broad capacity fitness. Some people want to say the Rogue Invitational, well, they don't really test endurance. I would argue you there, because it certainly accumulates through the course of 3 days.
They still have 6 events remaining after this. They were put through the ringer here on day number 1, as Emma Tall is going to make it well inside the time cap. 15:25.74 for Tall. Paige Rogers is a leader on the floor. She's onto the sandbag for the final time, bottom of your screen. Paige Semenza in the middle is also onto her final reps. She's got 20 seconds to make it inside the time cap. Not sure they're going to make it as we are in the final 10 seconds.
Wow.
So half the field gets capped here in the opening heat. Olivia Kerstetter, 11:39.59 seconds. Looking to continue her march up the overall standings that started with a 3rd place finish in event number 2. And that result gets set to take on the tax collector. She'll be in lane 6. Danielle Brandon, her overall leader, will be in lane number 5. And the woman who trails her by just 5 points, right next to her in lane 4, that's where Alex Gazan will be working.
And that's what we've seen with Alex, Sean. We talked about it almost in a jokingly manner. She hasn't seen a heavy barbell that she doesn't like, and that's going to play a strong role in the outcome of this event. We've seen it plenty of times before.
Second and final heat of tax collector. Event 3 of 9 is underway. One more look at what we are facing. 4 rounds of the back squat, the dumbbell snatch, and the sandbag clean. Now, Danielle Brandon did tell our crew that she was pretty excited about this event. And an early no rep to start things off.
And you know, Sean, we talked about this event being different than just a traditional strength test. It's strength endurance. And I'm assuming that that's why Danielle can say, hey, I'm more excited about this than the way it's appeared in the previous years. No question asked. And it's the same way that we were able to see James Sprague have success in an event where they're like, hey, this could be damage control for him. And he accelerated through that event.
The tax collector is presented by Tier, event number 3 here, 3rd event of the day, as Maddie Sturge was the first woman to get to that 70-pound dumbbell for her opening 10 alternating snatches, 32 kilos on that implement. Manon Angane is right next to her in lane number 1, was second to this portion of the event. Laura Horvath currently sits in 3rd.
5 points away. And Danielle Brandon won lead and the points with Alex Gazan. His 5-point.
Maddie Sturt is done onto the sandbag. Manon Anganese is there as well, left side of the screen now at the bottom. Laura Horvath has moved slightly ahead of Alex Gazan. Gazan, middle of your screen, long black pants and the yellow kind of greenish shoes there. Danielle Brandon towards the back of the pack. .11:38.59 seconds. Time to beat. Top right part of your screen belongs to Olivia Kerstetter, who got through this first round in 2 minutes, 22 seconds.
We're seeing a lot of the same here from Heat 2 of women, the same way we saw Heat 2 of men. It's a really tight race early, seeing some different strategies. Maddie Sturt chose to go unbroken on the back squats. Most of the field broke it up. Steady singles on the sandbag. We're really going to start to see some separation as we get through the back squats on this next round into round 2.
Laura Horvath currently on the lead pace here, but all these athletes behind Olivia Kerstetter's pace. And Laura Horvath is done. And Maddie Sturt and Manon Anganese heading back to the barbell. Top of your screen, Emily Rolfe is also on the lead pace. And here comes Alex Gazan to start round 2. And Horvath, the first woman to unrack that barbell and get to work on her second set of 10 back squats at 225 pounds, 102 kilos.
We know Laura loves a back squat. She posts about it often, looks forward to it in her training. We'll see how that gets a payoff for her as this work continues to accumulate here.
Alexis Raptis and Danielle Brandon still on the sandbags. And one thing you said, Adrian, was Danielle's got to control the damage here and likely to fall out of the top spot in the overall standings after this event.
Yeah, and we knew it was coming. It's all about controlling the damage on the scoreboard and also controlling her mind. Understanding, hey, okay, this is where I'm at. This is who I am. This is currently what we're dealing with. How can I manage this setback enough to come out with some still good momentum going into tomorrow?
Maddie Sturt and Laura Horvath are your leaders right now in the heat. Alex Gazan is right there along with Emily Rolfe. Rolfe is towards the top of your screen. She's at the far end of the floor. Alex Gazan, who came in just 5 points back at Danielle Brandon for the top spot in the overall standings. Trying to hang with Sturt and Horvath.
It's interesting the ways to consider approaching this dumbbell. We've seen it so many different times today. Laura Horvath going with pretty much steady singles throughout, which she doesn't have to, right? So that's a conscious decision to help control her heart rate and restart each rep on the dumbbell versus Gazan and Sturt both doing sets of touch and go where their heart rate rises and then they recover. We'll see which one pays off.
Maddie Sturt, closest to the camera, in the black shorts down middle of your screen, is still your leader, but not by much. Emily Rolfe and Laura Horvath are right there here in the second of 4 rounds. There's Emma Lawson heading to the sandbag. Laura Horvath is now about a half rep ahead of Maddie Sturt. 11:38.59 seconds, that's the time to beat. Those are the splits from Olivia Kerstetter, who was already into round 3 at this point. We saw Colt Mertens for the men win this event out of heat number 1, and Olivia Kerstetter could be doing the same thing here for the women.
Yep.
Emily Rolfe and Laura Horvath fighting for the lead here in heat 2. Rolfe is on the upper right-hand part of your screen. Maddie Sturt and Alex Gazan currently sit in a battle for second. And Brooke Wells starting to move up as well. Danielle Brandon is still back on the back squat. She just finished up her second set of 10. Horvath into round 3.
Laura looking very, again, methodical, within control. Has been breaking her sets of 10 her rounds of 10 into 2 different sets. That last round, I really think, shook Gazan just a little bit in regards to her game plan. She looked pretty taxed coming off of those dumbbell snatches and continued to look into the stands even during her sandbag to shoulder. Still making slight work of this back squat.
Seems like a set of 6 and then a break is a strategy that Laura Horvath is going with. Gazan broke after 4 reps. Emily Rolfe and now Maddie Sturt fighting for second behind Laura Horvath.
Horvath back to those steady singles that we talked about. Again, taking a breath. This is how she did the last round equally. This is where veteran athletes tend to have the ability to separate themselves. Meeting yourself exactly where you're at. You're not trying to overcome some type of false obstacle like beating someone to your left or right, but you got to stay within your own window so you don't just lose points.
Emily Rolfe currently sits in second place as she's holding off Maddie Sturt for that position in this heat. Good news for Laura Horvath, who's leading the way here. Even though she's not on the lead pace to win the event, she's well ahead of the women she's chasing in the overall standings. Danielle Brandon, Alex Gazan, and Ariel Lowen all in Horvath's rearview mirror, as Emily Rolfe is not going to make things easy for Laura, as the two of them are heading to the sandbag at the same time to close out round 3. Maddie Sturt, left to center, is just about done with her third set, but these are the two leaders in the heat. On the left, Laura Horvath. On the right is Emily Rolfe. Olivia Kerstetter looking like she's going to pick up her first event win of the 2025 Rogue Invitational, because she was into round 4 at this point. She got done with round 3, 8 minutes and 34 seconds on the clock.
Well, this is opportunity for Emily. Laura's breaks are starting to become longer on the sandbag to shoulder here. She pauses, even puts her hands on the bag. That was a shorter one than the last two. Emily's got to start to seize this as an opportunity and build some momentum if she can.
Rolfe hasn't gotten off to a great start. In 19th place after a 19th place finish in a 16th. And now she's ahead of Horvath, going back to the barbell for the 4th and final time. Laura just finished up. Again, the good news for Horvath is that the women immediately in front of her are well behind her in this event. Emily Rolfe not really a threat to overtake Horvath on the leaderboard. Alex Gazan sits in 5th place. She's got 4 reps remaining here to close out round 3 on that 100-pound sandbag.
Yeah, and by the look of that body language and just the way that she's approaching the sandbag, I almost think she just came out a little bit hot. Heart rate skyrocketed, put her in a bad spot early. And everybody knows that has experienced that, even in your garage or in your own affiliate. You come out too hot, and it takes a long time for you to recover within a workout before you can just sit down and recover.
Maddie Sturt returns to the barbell for the 4th and final time. She's fighting with Lawson and Wells for 3rd place behind Emily Rolfe and Laura Horvath, who both have now 3 reps remaining. Horvath is about a rep ahead of Rolfe. And Laura Horvath is done and on to the dumbbell for the final time. Rolfe just racking the barbell. She's going to get to work on her final set of alternating dumbbell snatches. So Alex Gazan's coming off that injury that she suffered in the car accident following the NorCal Classic in June, and said that the back squat, that was the thing that was coming back the slowest for her.
Makes sense. A break to that fibula and all the joints that it surrounds, from the knee to the ankle to all the bones in the foot.
Olivia Kerstetter is officially your event winner, as her time is now passed, 11:38.59 seconds.
Looks like 1 rep there for Laura left on her snatch.
And Laura Horvath moving to the sandbag for the final time, looking to win the heat here and possibly move herself into the top 3, because she only trailed Ariel Lowen for 3rd place by 10 points, and Lowen right now is towards the back of the pack along with Danielle Brandon. Emily Rolfe got a no rep. That's going to set her back, as Laura Horvath is 2 reps into her final set of 10 here on that 100-pound sandbag.
For this final round of the tax collector, Emily Rolfe, on the move in lane number 10.
5 reps left for Horvath. Rolfe making quick work of this sandbag.
Yeah, I mean, Emily's got a chance here. If she starts to push here and dig a little bit, if she's got it in there, she can send it right now and close the gap.
See Brooke Wells in the middle of your screen fighting with Maddie Sturt for 3rd place, as the 2 of them are onto the sandbag for the final time. But right now it's Horvath versus Rolfe for the heat win. Final rep for Horvath. And Laura Horvath is in. She will take the heat. 12:58.90 seconds for the 2-time Rogue Invitational champion. And Emily Rolfe is in at 13:04.26 seconds, her best result of the day.
Laura Horvath, top 5 on a regular basis. It pays off really well.
And nearly 70% of the time at the Rogue Invitational, she finishes inside the top 5.
Brooke Wells, ladies and gentlemen,
And Brooke Wells just came across. Wells looking to crack the top 10. Emma Lawson is in.
Wow.
And Maddie Sturt, the leader on the floor. She's got 2 reps left.
Emma really did a nice job lagging back in that heat as well and then really pushing late.
And Maddie Sturt closes out day number 1, 13:57.96 seconds, less than 2 minutes to go. And Alex Gazan, who was towards the front, is now looking at a 6th place finish in the heat. Danielle Brandon is now done with round 3. She's going to get time capped, so things are going to change on top of the overall standings.
Some things are certainly going to change, but Danielle's got to remain in her head that half the field got also time capped in that last heat. So it's not going to be her and her alone, and she's battling for every repetition to continue to keep those points. Again, her whole goal was to brace for impact and minimize the damage.
Oh, Alex Gazan dropped it behind her.
Yep.
That's just one of those things that you got to keep in mind. So 1 extra rep for Gazan. She's still going to make it inside the time cap. 14:54.47 seconds for her. And now 1 minute before the time cap. So Danielle Brandon's just, as you mentioned, Adrian, got to think about the rest of the athletes who got capped here and just try to rack up as many reps as she possibly can. Ariel Lowen is still on the floor as well. She's going to get capped along with Alexis Raptis. So this is, for Laura Horvath, great news, as she's going to pick up a ton of points on the women in front of her in the overall standings.
Brandon is only 2 reps behind Alexis Raptis right now. She's going to have to hang on, though, for the time remaining and fight here. She thought about it.
Renan Anganese, bottom of your screen, on the dumbbell for the final time. Final 5 seconds. And with that, day number 1 of the 2025 Rogue Invitational is in the books, and things are going to look a lot different at the beginning of day number 2 in the overall standings as they did coming into this 3rd and final event on Friday. And Laura Horvath could find herself in the top 2. The men, 9 men in the field here as Uldis Upniks, has withdrawn. And Guy Maeros in lane 4 is a guy who can move some heavy weight. Colton Mertens in lane 2, also someone who could do very well in this event. Opening heat is underway. 30 reps per round. 4 total rounds for 120 reps, and then that 1 final rep at the end to hit the buzzer.
Now, for some context, folks, we tested the back squat this year as a 1-rep max for the first time at the CrossFit Games as a stand-alone event, which allowed athletes to really see where they were. And this man, Colton Mertens, he back squatted 570 pounds. So when you think about 315 all across the board, it's no surprise he gets off after doing 10 reps in just 30 seconds.
Mertens moving on to the 100-pound dumbbell snatch, 45 kilos. What are the keys here?
Well, it's breathing and bracing. We already noticed these athletes, Guy and Colton, both moving on to the second movement. Well, they're bracing the musculature around their spine very differently than they did to hold and support that back squat load. And it's going to be the same for the sandbag. And they got to rack and rest. This is going to take place for most of the competitors in the squat. They're going to need to use that rack so that they don't just have to support the 315 for all 4 rounds unbroken.
Mertens is through his 10 reps and now moving to the sandbag clean. Got to do 10 reps at 150 pounds at 68 kilos on that.
Again, the athletes are going to have already been specified. They must do single reps on the sandbag. Not that I don't think it changed a lot of their approach, of course, to this specific event. Coming into tax collector, I think a lot of athletes knew there'd be pressure to keep the reps chunked together in pretty big sets on the back squat to get to 10. Smooth touch and go, and some singles on the dumbbell, but most would have opted for single reps here on the sandbag either way.
Austin Hatfield and Fabian Ermans are the next 2 men to the sandbag. Then to the far end of the floor, right side of your screen, that's Saxon Panchik getting to work on the sandbag, and Sam Quant in the black shirt is starting. Chandler Smith stepping up to this implement for the first time. 4 rounds here, opening heat, first of 2 heats for the men. 16-minute time cap, and Colton Mertens will be the first man to head back to that 315-pound, 143-kilo barbell for round 2.
Wow. And no hesitation, notice, I mean, this is a body language thing. He puts his hands right on the bar, giving himself that mental cue like, hey, it's time to go to work. I'm not going to stand around and look at the rest of this field.
Mertens halfway through, 5 reps remaining, and no one is even close to joining him yet. Hatfield and Ermans have 1 rep remaining on the sandbag. Hatfield just finished up his set, and he's not even going to get to the barbell before Mertens is done.
Yeah, his ability to keep his torso tall and utilize his legs from his upper leg position and his lower leg position to literally sandwich that tissue together and just rebound out of the bottom is going to be really hard for guys to keep up with.
Chandler Smith finishing up his first set of 10 sandbag cleans. Saxon Panchik walking back to the rack, along with Sam Quant, the black shirt, left side of your screen. The battle for second has taken place between Fabian Ermans and Austin Hatfield. Ermans has a 1-rep lead on Hatfield. Ermans bottom of your screen taking a break, as is Hatfield, and Colton Mertens is starting to run away with his heat. He's already through his 2nd round of dumbbell snatches onto the sandbag for the 2nd time. He'll be halfway through after these 10 reps.
It's honestly wild to consider, Sean. We see Hatfield using the rest and rack method that we talked about in the keys, showing a little bit of his mortality, where Colton Mertens is just putting his foot on the gas to pull further and further away from the rest of this field.
Mertens already through 2 sandbag cleans at 150 pounds. Mertens coming in at 11th place overall. He's got a 10th and a 9th place finish.
Colton really using the pace of the sandbag to keep his composure, not rushing these repetitions, but he knows where he makes his money, which is on the back squat rep, so he can pace this out a little bit more. He knows everybody has to do singles on the bag anyways, and this is where he can settle his heart rate and then walk back to that barbell for another 10 reps.
Mertens has just 2 reps remaining in this round. 150 pounds at 68 kilos on the sandbag, and he is halfway through the 120 total reps. Weights on all of the implements on the bottom left-hand part of your screen. 10 more reps at 315, 143 kilos on the back squat for the Iron Hog, who is starting to open up a very wide lead here over both Ermans and Hatfield, who have just both started their 2nd round of sandbag cleans.
Shawnee's moving this 315 as if it's not there on his back, which lends me to believe with the pace that he's holding, there is no breaking this up. Not even, it wasn't even an afterthought for Colton Mertens, as if, will I use this rest and rack method that Adrian just prescribed to the group? No, I'm not human like the rest of these athletes out here on the field.
Well, if Mertens gets through these as quickly as he has these first 2 rounds, he could join Hatfield and Ermans and Smith on the sandbag.
Well, this is what will dictate it right here. Does he choose to go touch and go on the dumbbell?
Chandler Smith with 7 reps to go on the sandbag. Ermans has 2 left. Hatfield has 3 remaining.
And he does. Mertens going touch and go, just like he did in the previous 2 rounds.
45 kilos, 100 pounds on that dumbbell, and Mertens is just smashing this event.
It's becoming comical. A brief rest with his hands on his knees, his first sign of mortality in the tax collector for Colton.
Hatfield and Hermans are now starting round 3 as Mertens is 10 reps away from heading into his 4th and final round here.
Fabian making these squats look light as well. I mean, technically very sound. Does a great job staying rooted through his heel, and a great pace there with 315, making it look very light. Breaking it up there. This is that rest and rec method that we talked about. It was going to be important for athletes to remain disciplined when they choose to use the rack. This can also be a trap. Got to get back to work.
Herman's coming off a 12th place finish in event 2. William Wallace earlier today. There's Austin Hatfield.
I talked to one of the Mayhem coaches between these events, Sean Angelo DeChico, and he said Hatfield was a bit upset with the way he finished the last event. Not in a bad placing, but in a way that he knew he could have gone faster. And you just got to think that that kind of urgency, and especially when you get that kind of emotion in competition, it's going to fuel your next performance.
Well, Colton Mertens is slowed a little bit on the sandbag. He's on the right side of your screen now. He has 2 reps remaining, but he is so far ahead that it's not going to matter. Back to the barbell for 10 final back squats at 315 pounds, 143 kilos.
Now, if all things considered, if he's paced the way that he has the rest of this, he slowed the sandbag cleans just so that he could come here and get another 10 unbroken. And it looks like that's going to be the case. The speed out of the bottom on these squats is just unmatched. He has an advantage with the distance that he has to travel, being a shorter statured athlete, and he's taking the most of it and making the most of it right now.
Final 2 for Colton Mertens, who went unbroken in all 4 of these sets and gets right to it. Never racked that barbell until he was done, and now back to the dumbbell. And this is just a beating that he is putting on the rest of the field.
And just look at the rest of the men. Look at Hatfield. Look at Chandler Smith. They're doing 1 rep at a time. That dumbbell is taking them for a ride. Yeah.
That's Fabian Hermans, who currently sits in 2nd place, trying to close out his 3rd round.
And Colton Mertens just continuing to cycle this 100-pound dumbbell. Better than I do 70 pounds.
Mertens now 10 sandbag cleans remaining. To the sandbag for the final time, threatening to lap Hermans.
And if you pay attention to Colton Mertens, which is why he's a fan favorite, I promise you that lapping them is a huge motivator right now. He is leaning into this full send, not only thinking about the next heat, but he's like, yeah, I want to be able to hold this over these guys' head that they got lapped by me and the tax collector.
Six reps remaining for Mertens. 16-minute time cap in this event.
I mean, this is amazing what we're seeing from Mertens right now. He's making it look way too easy and way too simple, folks. It's easy to unappreciate what's going on, but just look around.
He's making some of the fittest in the world just look pedestrian at this point. Mertens on his final rep. Colt Mertens, the Iron Hog, demolishes the event and dominates Heat 1. 10:27.66 seconds.
Wow.
Austin Hatfield is on his final set of back squats. Hermans is currently the leader on the floor. But Mertens had 115 points. I know it's early, but he is looking to move maybe into the top 6, depending on what happens in heat number 2. But that time is, unless something crazy happens in heat number 2, is definitely going to be towards the top of the results when this is all said and done.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, beyond crazy, it would have to be astronomical for someone to touch his time. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a statement one for him and a huge momentum swing You know what it's like and what we've seen in the past. You finish day one or day two, that evening workout with a win. Man, does it carry on to that next day. And this is one of those events, Sean, as we watch the rookie make a great performance here in the first heat. This is one that's certainly going to shake some things up.
10 reps remain for Fabian Armins. Chandler Smith and Austin Hatfield are closing out their fourth round of dumbbell snatches. Colton Mertens has been done for nearly 2 minutes. The first appearance of the Rogue Invitational for Fabian. And we mentioned it earlier today. Just to be on this stage competing against this class of athlete, it's going to be a great learning experience for him.
Yeah, and in a young athlete, when you see something like this, a rookie on a stage like this, to go through an event specifically like this, the tax collector, this is so physiologically taxing. Like, again, people at home are going to have a hard time fathoming this unless they put together this triplet, these three movements, and simulate it for themselves. But to see this kind of raw work capacity from a rookie that Fabian's showing us right now, that really shows me exactly why he was able to qualify for the Q and get a ticket here.
Fabian is in 17:17.58 seconds. I mean, nearly 3 minutes behind Colton Mertens. Hatfield and Smith, along with Saxon Panchik, are your leaders on the floor here. 2.5 minutes to go before we hit the time cap.
This is where you explore different ways to test strength. We see there are many guys out there on the floor right now that might win by and large, like Guy Malheiros in a 1-rep max strength event. But this is strength in a different way. This is certainly more of an emphasis on strength endurance. Your ability to be gritty and grind through different elements.
And Chandler Smith is in. 14:08 for Chandler Smith. Someone who's competed in every single Rogue Invitational, making his 7th appearance here. And now Hatfield is in. Less than 90 seconds to go. Saxon Panchik has 1 dumbbell snatch, and now he's finished on the right side of your screen, moving to the sandbag for the final time.
Oh boy. We're running into some serious cappage here. More guys gonna be struggling with this 16-minute time cap than I assumed coming into this first heat. Showing the wear and tear of today. This is not the first event, folks. This is the 3rd event that they've done today, and we can't discount the way carrying that 600-pound yoke has taxed their nervous system already today. So they've been through it.
Harry Lightfoot is on his 4th and final round of dumbbell snatches. Guy Malheiros is just finishing up his final set of back squats, and now less than 30 seconds to go before we hit the time cap. And Saxon Panchik has 4 reps left to get there. And the way this event is going, those reps are going to be huge if he can get in inside that time cap. Well, 2 reps remain for Saxon. He's got it. Now he's got to hit the buzzer, and he does. So Saxon Panchik sneaking in inside the time cap. But Colton Mertens just demolishing this event. Finished in 10 minutes, 27.66 seconds. And that is going to be a tough time to beat.
Oh, my goodness. I'm laughing because I'm dumbfounded at that performance, man. Colton Mertens coming out making a wonderful
track with a win in event 2, William Wallace. Your lane assignments, 10 athletes out there on the floor. Justin Medeiros will be in lane number 4. He is your overall leader. Keep an eye on Vellner in lane 9 and Jay Crouch in lane 3. Those are your overall leaders. Jason Hopper trying to come up with another strong performance. I don't know if the event win is even possible after what Colton Mertens did to this thing. We start with the 10 back squats at 315 pounds, 143 kilos.
We already got a couple athletes using that rack and rest method. Jason Hopper, one of them that chose to break up the first 10. I think this is a very wise choice. If you're making this choice early for someone like Hopper who has a back squat over 500 pounds and you're breaking up 10 reps at 315, that tells me you're thinking ahead and not just racing the first round.
Jay Crouch and Justin Medeiros, along with Pat Vellner, the first three men to the dumbbell. Adler's there as well. Now everybody on to the dumbbell snatches. Something to keep an eye on, but Colton Mertens was done with this first round in 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
That's right. I made that note too, man. I was like, oh my goodness.
So good luck.
That's right. And we noticed Jay's not the only one. We've noticed some athletes breaking their setup here, even in the first round with these 10, trying to conserve their lower back a little bit. Look, this is a mirrored movement. They're gonna come off this dumbbell snatch and go to the sandbag, and Sean, those look almost exactly the same.
Yeah, Adler, Hopper, and Medeiros, along with Vellner, are all on to the sandbag. Vellner's at the very far end of the floor in the black shirt. Jeff Adler, who came in 5th place overall, 145 points. He's only 25 out of a spot inside the top 3. There's Pat Vellner, one of the 3 men with 170 points to lead the way. 2-time Rogue Invitational champion. So all these men behind the pace set by Colton Mertens, who again finished his first round in 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Pat really has a unique sandbag to shoulder. He gets that thing past his knees and just pulls his hips forward right underneath it. I think it saves him a ton of range. It's really wise, showing a good technical difference between him and the rest of the field there. Just a rebend of the knee, sneaks right under that bag, doesn't have to jump it to his shoulders, and this could keep his heart rate down a good bit here.
But Jeff Adler's your leader here in this heat after round number 1, but well off the lead pace set by Colton Mertens. Jason Hopper is done, as are Medeiros, Jay Crouch, Pat Vellner, and Roman Krennikov. James Sprague on the right side in that red shirt, falling back a little bit in the pack. And as you mentioned, just got to do some damage control here. Not going to be his event. And Jason Hopper, who's trying to do it, the man on his right, Justin Medeiros, did, and that is follow up across the Games Championship with a Rogue Invitational win, is towards the front of the pack.
This is where you'd like to think these athletes, especially as experienced and having that champion mindset like Justin Medeiros, is having a steady internal clock. The timer's always going. He finishes a few reps, he racks, he rests, and it's immediately a countdown onto that next set.
Well, Jeff Adler's through his second round, as is Jason Hopper. Justin Medeiros putting the belt on as he sizes up that 100-pound, 45-kilo dumbbell. And just to compare again what Colton Mertens did to this event, he finished round 2 in 4 minutes, 32 seconds on the clock.
Wow. We're seeing a lot of mirroring game strategy here, Sean. These athletes breaking at a similar time, choosing to go singles at a similar time. I don't know if Hopper intended on going singles this early. It looked like a response to some fatigue that's building in his lower back. The other guys opted for 2 sets of touch and go reps, and he opted for singles instead.
Well, Jason Hopper, who started the competition in 18th place, moved up to 7th place after the event win and is trying to get himself inside the top 5. As Justin Medeiros and Jeff Adler are leading the way here. So Colton Mertens can start celebrating the event win, because elite athletes in this heat are way off of his pace.
Colton is likely watching in the back, going to watch closely for their times and see if there's a time in which he would have lapped them, and he will then let them know about that if that's true.
Adler kind of had a similar beginning as did Jason Hopper. Hopper finished 18th in that opening event. Jeff Adler took 11th, but then took a second in the following event. There are Colton Merton splits that are just insane. So he was well into round 3 at this point.
Well, it's all about consistency. And for anyone unaware of the way that we're looking to find the champion this weekend, it's across these 9 events and who scores statistically best.
Jay Crouch is on his final rep. The good news for Justin Madera is not going to win the event, but he's ahead of the 2 guys who are tied with him in the overall standings, both Pat Vellner and Jay Crouch. But it's going to get crowded there at the top of the overall standings as Hopper and Adler continue to try and rack up points and work their way closer to a podium spot heading into the weekend.
Adler going 6-4 for his back squat sets, now taking time to chalk up these first 2 rounds. Sean, he stayed tremendously closer to his barbell. He was like right under that thing even during his rest. So this tells me he's going to start taking some more time to recover now.
Medeiros is now done with his 3rd set of back squats and will move back to the dumbbell. He's been impressive so far as Justin Medeiros. I don't know if a lot of people thought he would be in this position after day 1. A lot of the eyes were on Jeff Adler, as we said at the top of the event here. He was the guy people were thinking was going to return to championship form, but so far it has been Justin Medeiros.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about this lineup. We can't count out a handful of these guys. They've all got championship experience. They know what it takes. It's about piecing it together. When we consider piecing it together, we're watching Jay Crouch. He's been doing singles on this dumbbell snatch the entire time, and look at where he's at. It's paying off just fine for him in his overall strategy. He's one of those guys that if we don't pay attention to, he'll sneakily sneak in to a top spot.
Ricky Garrard has fallen way off the pace here. This is the start of his 3rd round. And just for context again, Colton Mertens was into round 4 at this point.
Yeah, it's got to be this back squat that's giving Ricky problems. He did finish 23rd at that 1 rep max back squat that I alluded to at the CrossFit Games this last year. He only back squatted 455. When you consider a number like that against that 315 that he's having to cycle 40 times, it's a very different experience for him than it is some of these other stronger guys.
Justin Medeiros has opened up a now 3 rep lead on Jeff Adler as they are to the sandbag for the start of round 3. So if this holds, Medeiros will be in the lead all by himself. And then things are going to get really interesting behind him because Adler and Hopper are picking up more points. Now, meanwhile, Roman Krennikov and Pat Vellner and James Sprague are creeping up here.
Eyes are on Justin Medeiros. Black shorts, red shoes, can't miss him.
Still a lot of opportunity for this different leads and different positions to exchange, which is a beautiful thing here. This is where self-discipline and self-awareness really kick in.
James Sprague, one of the 3 men who made a big move after that 2nd event. 130 points, 6th place overall as Justin Medeiros is into his 4th and final round.
All these events are uncomfortable. They are all going to elicit a sense of pain. But I'll tell you right now, when you're in the lead and you're Justin Medeiros, the pain feels so different than what someone like Ricky Garrard is experiencing right now. When you're playing catch-up, everything hurts just a little bit more worse than when you're leading the pack.
Now, Garrard is just lagging towards the back. Just finishing up his 3rd set of back squats as Adler is back to the barbell along with Jay Crouch in the gray shirt, bottom of your screen, and James Sprague in an event that you mentioned, what was at stake here for him? Try to do some damage control. So far, he is doing more than that. He's in contention here for a top finish in the heat.
Yeah, we talked about the different ways to test strength, and I'll tell you, this one being more of an emphasis on strength endurance and that grittiness, James excels at that. So while this 315 might be heavier to him relative to his 1 max than others, he can grind through this and shine nonetheless.
We got 10 seconds until we hit Colton Mertens' time, so he's going to pick up the event win and 100 points in the process, and Mertens is likely going to be inside the top 10 to start day number 2. Justin Medeiros to the 100-pound, 45-kilo dumbbell for his final set of 20, or 10, sorry. Adler with 3 reps remaining here. Make it 4. But James Sprague, meanwhile, has moved himself into 3rd place in the heat behind Crouch and Medeiros.
Wow.
This is a great showing for James Sprague.
Yeah, absolutely.
Medeiros to the sandbag for the final time. Remember, Colton Mertens had about 3 minutes between himself and Fabian Hermans, who finished in 2nd place in that heat. So a 2nd place finish in this event is very well within the reach of Justin Medeiros. And now Sprague into 2nd behind Medeiros. This is huge for James Sprague. He is 6th place overall coming in. Now Jay Crouch to the sandbag for the final time. He's in the gray shirt. James Sprague is picking things up here a bit. 3 reps back of Medeiros. He's on a faster pace, but I think he's going to run out of time. Roman Krenikov up top onto the sandbag. 150 pounds, 68 kilos. Medeiros got a no rep. He still has plenty of time. 2nd place in the event still is his. Medeiros hits the buzzer, and he's going to be your overall leader heading in to day 2. 12:26.19 seconds for the 2-time Rogue Invitational champion. And now James Sprague has 1 rep left, as does Jay Crouch. Sprague is closer to the buzzer. He takes the rep, makes the touch. Here comes Crouch. 3rd and 4th, respectively, in the event for Sprague and Crouch. Is now Krenikov is across.
Wow.
So Jeff Adler falling off the pace. He's got 4 reps remaining. And now those times from heat number 1 are starting to factor in. So Colton Mertens beat Justin Medeiros by nearly 2 minutes in this event. And Medeiros is your overall leader.
What a showing. What a showing by Medeiros. Adler across.
So Adler looking to keep himself inside the top 5. So Jason Hopper, mentioned what's at stake for him, trying to pick up some points here. He was in 7th place overall, but now starting to fall back as Vellner is in. Hopper has 5 reps remaining. Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson is out there along with Jonakowski on the sandbag. Ricky Garrard is still back on the back squat here in round 4. Garrard's in danger of getting capped. Hopper's in. We'll see if he stays inside the top 7. Koski and Gudmundsson are just about done. Gudmundsson, top of your screen, has 1 rep remaining, and Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson is across the finish line. Jonakowski with 4 reps left on the sandbag. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining here before we run into the 16-minute time cap. Final rep for Koski.
Something's just not right with Ricky Garrard back there, still working through his back squats.
And Koski's done, less than a minute to go, and Ricky Garrard is going to get time capped. He has 3 reps left on that 315-pound, 143 kilo back squat.
It looks like he's continuing to try to find some position of relief for his midline. It could be his back, it could be an oblique, something that he's trying to find relief for, cinching up the belt as tight as he can get it.
Oh, yeah. So nice. I set it on the back. Oh, no.
But that strain you see from him, that's not a response to the load and him just squatting it up and down.
So Gerard is done with the barbell, and he'll move to the 100-pound dumbbell, try to get as many reps as he possibly can here.
Get those reps in. Every rep counts. 3, 2, 1, 4.
Justin Medeiros will be your overall leader after 3 events. Colton Mertens looking to crash the party in the top 10 as he picks up the event win. A first, a second, and a 7th for Justin Medeiros on day number 1, and looking a lot like